Give a man a horn, he'll honk for a day. Teach a man to honk, and he'll have a horn for eternity.
Right, I'm gonna go a bit further then. I'll see you later.
Alright, Giesen.
See ya.
Thanks for playing with me, buddy.
Yeah, see you later.
Alright. If all the locomotives are safe, go to the freight depot and log out.
See ya, AJ.
See you, man. Thanks for playing with me.
See ya.
This was fun. Looking forward to the next time.
Well, today's Friday. We'll play Railroads again on Tuesday.
Cool, sounds good. All day or early hours?
Just early hours.
Cool,
I
cool.
got Triple T at night on Tuesdays.
Gotcha.
Yep. Okay. Good work, everybody.
See ya.
See you, bud. Tuesday Tarkov with Taradra. I like trains. Yep. Alright. Let's switch over to space news, shall we? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, okay. A little bit behind. Alright. We gotta do some timing with the locomotives so we know how long it takes to freaking get the things all safe. But, yep. Alright. So, this is EJ's Space and Rocket Review. TNT. Yep. Let me get a video up here real quick, and we'll go from there. Try to get a shorter one here. About 30 to 45 minutes average. Yeah, exactly, right? Trying to find some good clips in here. Yeah. This might be good footage, I think. Let's try... I'm just trying to find a good video. I usually put on an old NASA archival stuff here. Yeah, here. Let's try that one. See what this one does. All right, guys. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Yeah. Taking a break real quick.
The Apollo Saturn V, America's largest space vehicle, is being developed for extensive manned space missions, including landings on the moon prior to the end of this decade. One of the most important steps in creating a useful space vehicle is the live development testing of the propulsion systems. These tests, called static firings, involve strapping down each stage of the vehicle and firing its engine. In 1965, the propulsion system for each stage of the Apollo Saturn V vehicle was successfully static fired. These tests prove the various propulsion systems are reliable enough for astronaut safety and powerful enough to achieve the assigned mission. The static tests also confirm the design and manufacturing concepts for the production of the flight stages of the vehicle. The Apollo Saturn V consists of 3 booster stages and 3 spacecraft stages. The primary booster stage is the S1C. The upper stages are the S2 and the S4B. The 3 spacecraft stages include the lunar module, the propulsion module, and the command module. The command module is the only vehicle stage which does not have a propulsion system. However, it does contain reaction control engines. Atop the command module is the launch escape system, which is used to pull the spacecraft clear of the launch vehicle if the mission is aborted during liftoff or the early stages of flight. At Huntsville, Alabama, the first stage of the Apollo Saturn V is being developed jointly by the Marshall Space Flight Center and the Boeing Company, and is manufactured by Boeing at Marshall's Michoud Assembly Facility in New Orleans. Static tests of the first stage's propulsion system started at Marshall early in 1965. The stage is powered by 5 F-1 engines, which develop a total of 7.5 million pounds of thrust. The engines are produced by Rocketdyne at Canoga Park, California. The purpose of the first stage is to provide the initial boost of the Apollo spacecraft into Earth orbit. The first 5-engine static test of this stage was conducted in the spring of 1965. Since then, many more tests have been conducted, including engine gimbal tests, and full duration tests of over 150 seconds. At Downey and Seal Beach, California, the Saturn V's second stage is being developed and manufactured by the Space and Information Division of North American Aviation under the direction of Marshall Space Flight Center. This stage is powered by 5 J-2 engines, which develop a total thrust of 1 million pounds. These engines are also produced by Rocketdyne. The J-2 is the largest engine currently in production, which burns liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. The development and use of these propellants represent a major step forward in obtaining the necessary power required for manned exploration of space. When mixed with liquid oxygen in a rocket engine, hydrogen provides about 40% more thrust per pound of fuel than the conventional kerosene-type fuel. At its Santa Susana test area, North American has conducted a number of successful firings of the second stage's 5-engine clusters. These included full thrust and full duration tests. The Douglas Aircraft Company at Santa Monica and Huntington Beach, California, is responsible for the development and manufacture of the third stage of the Apollo Saturn V under the direction of the Marshall Space Flight Center. Stage testing is conducted by Douglas at its Sacramento test site. The stage is powered by one J-2 Rocketdyne engine, which develops 200,000 pounds of thrust. The purpose of this stage is to first place the spacecraft in an Earth parking orbit, and later to place the spacecraft in a lunar trajectory. To accomplish this, the stage's propulsion system must have a stop-start capability. This capability was successfully demonstrated by test firing in the summer of 1965. The engine was fired for 180 seconds, then shut down for 1.5 hours, simulating a coast period, and reignited for 335 seconds. The lunar module is being developed and manufactured by Grumman Aircraft at Bethpage, New York, under direction of Manned Spacecraft Center at Houston, Texas. The module has 2 propulsion systems, a descent engine and an ascent engine. The descent engine is being manufactured by TRW in Redondo Beach, California, and tested at San Juan Capistrano, California. The descent engine can be throttled, allowing the astronauts on board to control the module's rate of descent to the lunar surface. The astronauts will also use the descent engine to help translate or move above the lunar surface to select a landing site. The first static firing of the descent engine took place in the spring of 1965. The lunar module's ascent engine is being manufactured by Bell Aerosystems, Buffalo, New York, and is being tested at White Sands Missile Range. The ascent engine supplies power for launch of the module from the lunar surface into lunar orbit, where it will rendezvous with the command and propulsion module. The first firing of the ascent engine also took place in the spring of 1965. The Apollo spacecraft's command and propulsion modules are being developed and constructed by North American Aviation in Downey, California, under the direction of Manned Spacecraft Center. The engine for the propulsion module is being manufactured by Aerojet General in Sacramento, California. The module's propulsion system provides power for maneuvering the spacecraft during its flight to the moon, slowing it for lunar orbit entry, and thrusting the spacecraft from lunar orbit into a return flight path to Earth. The first firing of a development engine for the propulsion module took place at White Sands, New Mexico, early in 1965. There are other propulsion systems in the Apollo Saturn V which are smaller than the systems just reviewed, but which are just as vital to the success of the mission. Some of these systems use liquid fuel, others use solid fuel. They include the reaction control systems on the spacecraft's command, propulsion, and lunar modules, and the reaction control system on the third stage. All of these systems have been successfully tested. Another of the smaller but vital propulsion units is the launch escape system. This is used to pull the spacecraft clear of the vehicle in case of danger to the astronauts in the early stages of powered flight. This system has not only completed static firing, but flight tests as well. These propulsion system development tests are just the beginning of the Apollo Saturn V static firing. For each flight stage of every Apollo Saturn V will also be static fired to verify its power, performance, and reliability. These static tests are a prelude to the launch of the huge vehicle from the Kennedy Space Center. A prelude to the flight within this decade, when the proven power of Apollo Saturn V will launch man on his greatest voyage. A journey to the luminous satellite of Earth we call the Moon.
All right, is that enough? I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm jamming to this. I'm jamming to this. I'm freaking jamming to this. This whole music is baller. It slaps. Slaps. Link? You want the link to this? Sure. It's NASA's hold music. This is the worst. What's that cursed image? Oh God! Kill it! Ugh, kill it with fire. I know, I can see the link, dude. Alright. Cool. Yeah, you're showing off the windings of a watch. Oh wow, that's long. I can see it. Yeah, the watch, right? Wait for it, wait for it. Friday Space News. It's the weekend, man. Nice and laid back. What? What? Is this the NASA hold music? No. Yeah. Yeah. Boo! So much space stuff yesterday, wasn't it sweet, dude? It's fun. Alright. Alright, that's enough. That's enough. Alright, so, welcome to Space News. Sorry, a couple of derails put us a little bit late. I gotta, like, move railroads to, like, after hours or something. Because it always ends up, we always end up taking up a lot of time. You know what we should do? Dude, the Eat, Sleep, Lunch, Repeat pin is so teeny. You know what we should do? Yeah, we should play Kerbal, Space News, and then like Railroads next week. So, except for Tuesday, because I want to play Tarkov, but,
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. Real after hours. Yep. Talon, hey, 72-month resub. Train problems derailed the schedule. Train news. I can't really give you train news per se, but like, I mean, I could show you this. Like, The horn is the best part. Listen to that noise. Bird! Bird! Come on, let it rip. Oh, that's badass, man. Oh, okay. Okay, alright, I can't keep watching that. I can't keep watching that. I love the horn, man. It sounds like a pissed off bear. Just... Oh, yeah. Big boy's gonna growl at me. I'm gonna growl back. Brr. I don't know. Sorry. It's very strange behavior. Dude, I gotta do. Hold on. Okay. Alright. 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 Oh. Okay. Okay. Alright. 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 It gets better in the second half. Is he highballing it? Oh, that's cool. Oh. Right, Metroid? Look at how well balanced that mechanism is. It's perfect. It is perfectly balanced. Like, no, there's no adverse vibrations. It's smooth operation right there, dude. It is. There's something really, really, really... There's something really hypnotizing about it. I can't stop looking at it, dude. I don't know what that's about. It's like some missing link stuff. It's just... Okay. Okay. You know? Get some. Stop watching those stupid wheels go around. What the heck is with that? Why is this a thing? Just... Dude, that thing is hauling the mail right now. Look at how fast it's going. Yeah, look at the dude. Look at the dudes above the number plate. This thing is freaking huge. I'm sorry, it's just very hypnotizing. It's just... Hey, there's another one. There's the 3571 video, which is... Something about this video.
bikers are in for quite a surprise.
Everyone knows this video. Just... I love this video. This video is so great. Man, look at the drive wheels on that 484, dude. The drive wheels are bigger than a car. Yeah, weather guy, we'll have to check it out. This is the train news segment, guys. It's not really train news, it's just us swooning over steam engines. No, seriously. Look at the FJ Cruiser compared to the drive wheels. Those drive wheels are like 6 feet tall. 2 meters. 2 meter freaking drive wheels. Look at it compared to the truck. Unbelievable. They're probably not 2 meters to be fair, but still, they're freaking big. No. So the locomotive has the force of a rocket engine. Attractive effort can be measured in kilonewtons, so yes, you could kind of theoretically compare the steam locomotive to a rocket engine. Like the big boy has 600 kilonewtons of tractive effort, so the amount of force that thing pushes down on the rails on is as much as a rocket engine. But those are 80-inch diameter wheels. 2.03. They are 2 meters tall. 6 freaking foot drive wheels because frick you. Oh, that makes me so happy. Can you get that Toyota out of the way, please? Hands? Okay. Yeah, no, this guy's like, whoa! I mean, you can't say you wouldn't be doing the same thing. I'd be like, ah! I know, Bill, isn't it crazy? Oh my goodness, that's so cool. Nah, the video gets better when the guy in the old school Suburban shows up. It's up here. This is the part of the video that gets sweet. They pass all the cars, and then some dude in a blue, like, 65 Suburban. Yeah! Yeah! Dude. That's the best part. I like what's going on here. I like what's going on in this area right here. Yeah, isn't that cool? Look at that machine, man. That's pretty neat. And Suburban guy's like, well, I'll tell you what, boy, I like what's going on with that thing. I'm just gonna roll my truck right up next to it, and we're just gonna stay here. Yeah, exactly, Metroid, right? What? Dude, I don't know what it is, dude. I can't stop looking at it. It's like in Ghostbusters, you stare in the trap. I'm staring in the trap, Ray. Just... What? I don't know. There's some weird... It's activating a part of my brain that I don't understand. It's just... I could just... Yeah, see, Suburban Man knows what's good. Suburban Man knows what's good. Look at how fast that freaking connecting rod is moving. That's unbelievable. Yeah, right now I know. Yeah. How late would you be if this was on the highway? Oh, I'd be revving the engine in my car next to it, honking the horn, throwing the thumbs up in the horns, dude. Just boom. I do that sometimes with trains. Yeah. I can't stop watching that thing go up. I know, Swishio, it's very strange. It's very strange, dude. Yeah, I mean, you guys are saying it's like watching a ceiling fan or like a washing machine. There's just something really, there's some really weird thing going on there I'm happy that it's not just me. I can sit there and watch that mechanism go back and forth all day. I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know what it's about. That's strange. That's strange, man. What kind of model is it? It's a 484. It's a Baldwin 484. I don't know the exact model. You could just type... So, Pone Sister, oftentimes with old steam locomotives, 3751 is the serial number. That's the sequence number. The number of the locomotive is the sequence. So, type in Santa Fe 3571 and you'll find the type of locomotive. Right, Chief? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, Warlock. It's a Baldwin 484. Yeah, I won't... Here, you guys can... I'll link the video. You guys go give that guy the views, the train track Trav. Guys, I do that sometimes. There's a stretch of I-90 that runs right next to the train tracks in Boston. I'll pull into the traffic lane. I'll pull into the far right lane just to drive with the train. Just because that's... I don't know. I'm not going to sit there and even try to defend like that's normal behavior. It's not. I acknowledge it. Move on. Like, dude, I do that. Sometimes, like, if there's freight trains moving consists around, like, you don't see it on the I-90, that I-90 stretch that I'm talking about, but one time, if you drive around, like, backwoods New England, there are, like, little spur lines all over the place. There's railroad tracks everywhere. Most of it are walking trails for damn hippies now, but whatever. Some of them they still operate on, and they run right next to the roads, right? And one time I was driving back from, I think I was driving back from the junkyard. This was like 3 or 4 years ago, and there was a guy pulling 3 or 4 cars on one of these little spur lines with a diesel locomotive, and I was driving right next to him, and he noticed I was driving around in the Mustang, and the windows down, and I was like, I think it was blasting like Van Halen or something. Yeah, I mean, not that the guy could hear me, but I was purposely just driving with the train. Nobody was behind me, no one was out in front of me. It was just one of those weird, kind of surreal moments, right? And I'm just driving with the train, and the engineer notices me, and I'm giving him, I give the thumbs up, and he's like, "Oh, cool! Somebody actually gives a frick. That's neat." And I was like, "Doo doo," and then he honked the horn. I was like, "Honk the horn, man! Do it!" And he's like, freaking insanely loud train horn. I was like, "Yeah!" And then I pulled off. Yeah, no, that happens. Dude, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and say like that's normal. That's not normal, but it's a train. That thing's cool. Yeah. Warren's, dude, that happens all over this country, man. I was driving the 97 through, it was Oklahoma before the wheel fell off. Actually, no, that may have been Missouri. It was somewhere out in the Midwest. And there was a guy on a frontage road. So we have like highways, and then there's like a smaller road that runs next to the highway. It's called a frontage road. There's a guy in a semi in an old cab over, right? He was in an old cab over Peterbilt, right? Like the one on, it was like the one on DeBoss Garage, if you guys watch that YouTube channel. It looked like that. And he was driving next to me, and the truck can't go very fast. So he pulled up, right? And I was on the highway, he was on the frontage road. And the dude was like, "Nice truck!" I'm like, "Yeah, the cab over is sick." Like he knew that I saw the cab over. And yeah, no, it's just very straight. Like I don't know this guy. I'm never gonna see this guy again. But we were just chilling, cruising down the road. It was cool, man. Like people are usually cool like that, you know. I don't know what it is. The guy liked the truck. This crap box, red and white and silver F-250. I'm driving down the road, just blah, 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 blah. And he just pulls up and freaking yeah. I don't know. It's very strange. It's cool though. It's fun. I like that. Oh yeah, Jungle. The guy was like, he was like, "Oh, that's sick, nice car." I'm like, "No, nice train, man." I think I remember that. He was booking it. He was on the right hand side. It was a green cab over, green Peterbilt cab over RV, and I was like, "Dude, that guy notices the truck," and I let into it, and he let into it. It was cool, man. It was fun. That's fun, dude. You gotta have some fun like that. That's, you know what, fellas? Especially post-pandemic, just on a quick side note, we'll get back into space news here in a second. You know what my new favorite thing to do is when I go out in public? My new favorite thing to do is snap people out of it. That's my favorite freaking thing to do now. I do that when I go grocery shopping. I do that when I go, any type of store, restaurant, whatever. You try to start a conversation with people. And I don't know how it is in the rest of the world, but in Boston, everybody's like, especially since the pandemic, everybody's just minding their own business. No one's expecting to start a conversation, right? And my goal is to get people to snap out of it, to kind of snap out of their just drone mode, just snap out of it. And dude, I worked with a couple of people, if I'm like buying pizza or something, I know the guys at the pizza store, so I always have a conversation with them. But I feel like go to McDonald's or something, I'll try to start small talk with the people at the drive-thru just to see. And it's funny because most of the time they get really confused. They don't snap out of it. They just go, "Yeah, I'm good. How are you? I got to get back to work. Bye." But sometimes you get people to snap out of it and they'll have a conversation with you, which is actually kind of cool. I was in the grocery store the other day and, I was going down the aisle with my cart. Lady was going down the aisle with her cart, right? And, she needed to go to the right. I needed to go to the right. So we kind of almost, like, not head-on carts, but I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in your way." And she goes, No. And I'm like, boom, this is my in. I'm going to snap this lady out of drone mode because you could tell she was off, like, I don't know. So I ended up having, like, I don't know, a 3 or 4 minute conversation with this lady about different types of dip because we were in the dip aisle and she couldn't find what kind of dip she wanted. She's like, "I have these crackers, but I really need this type of dip." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a lot of decisions and stuff." Like, I got this lady to totally snap out of it for a second. Like, I like doing that. I think that's fun. You get people to snap out of like drone mode and they you have like a meaningful conversation with somebody. That, I don't know, that makes me happy. Call me weird in my old age. That's a little strange, but I ended up talking with this lady about salmon dip for like 5 minutes in the grocery store. Do I give a frick about salmon dip? No, but I got the lady to snap out of it. I got her to snap out of it, Yeah, it's very funny. Hey, geek. Yes, I would like fries with that. The other day I was at the McDonald's drive-thru. I was getting my tendies, and I asked the lady at the drive-thru, "How are you doing?" She goes, "Hi, 20-piece chicken McNugget." I go, "Yeah, thank you. How are you today?" Dude, totally derailed the conversation. Just like She went, what? What? I'm like, how are you? How are you doing? Like you. And she went like, oh, I'm good. Thank you. I'm like, you sure? She's like, yeah, no, it's been a busy day. Like I love doing that. I just get people to snap out of it for a second. Yeah, no, it's kind of funny. She's like, what? You're actually talking to me? Why would you talk to me? I'm like, because you're preparing my food? I don't know. Like, salmon dip is serious business. Is that a Vulcan shirt? It is, man. Yeah, no, Warrens, I do that. Yeah, waiters do it all the time. That's fun to do. That's what I do. That's like my amusement. Getting normies to snap out of it for a second. That's my favorite. That's like my new favorite thing to do, because it's like crazy post-pandemic. No, everyone's just like go. Next time you go out to the grocery store or something, look, you'll see what I'm talking about. People are just kind of like just drone mode, like nothing there, right? I like to snap them out of it for a second.
Go and throttle up.
Like that lady, I could tell that I made her freaking day talking with her about salmon dip for 5 minutes. It was just an older lady. I don't care. And she's like, yeah. I was like, maybe you should get those crackers. She's like, oh, that's good. Oh, thank you so much. That was really. She's like, oh, this is great. My night's gonna be excellent. I'm like, yeah, all right. You know. Check out these Atlas pictures. Okay. Do it to people when you're calling them for something. I do it to manufacturer reps, and you can hear them smile on the other end. Yeah. Did you tell her you have a fiance? Yeah. Yes, I did. Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. Metroid, I do it for fun. That's my new favorite thing to do. You know, you're checking out the grocery store. You ask the cashier, how's their day going? Hey, has it been busy? What? Has it been busy? Oh, yeah, it's been a long day. I'm like, that makes the day go by quicker, doesn't it? They're like, yeah, it does. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm like, hello, hey, how you doing? How's your day going?
I need some Italian cooking expertise, please.
All right.
Please.
Okay, what do you need?
I need you to show me how to cut the cheese.
Is this a fart joke?
It's not. And I really hate that there was no better way to say that. I was looking for a better way to say that, and I didn't find one.
Okay. Anyway. How are you doing today? Baby?
Oh, sorry. I'm good. I just need help.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was work okay?
Work was good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not stressed out at all?
No.
No? Everything's good?
Yeah, I just want help with the cheese. Please?
Alright. I'll be right back. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, bruh, 95 Taekwondo. FCC news. Interesting. Alright. Let's jump into some space news. So yeah, that's the fun thing for the day. Try to have a conversation with somebody. Don't force it, but try to have a conversation with somebody. I'm telling you, they'll snap out of it. And when you snap out of it, maybe you can make somebody's day better. Hey, Tom. 4-month resub. To make Brimo at ease, you must cut the cheese. Warren, do you think I'm just going to cut the cheese with crackers there? Poop jokes. And not take some? How about we start off Space News with some comedy? Oh, congratulations, Buck. You're going to lose the next month of your life to that 3D printer. All right, we'll start off with some comedy, Vulcan. What's this? Oh, you didn't have the end. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, of course, Caveman. Yep, yep. Oh, yeah. I remember that article. Man. Yeah, so much for your source at Blue Origin there, huh? Yeah, huh. Vulcan, interesting. Yeah, your source, huh? Okay. Yep. Yep. Funny how that works. So, fellas, everyone was like Vulcan was behind schedule. You know what they were doing? Behind schedule? They were behind schedule before. They were behind schedule basically because they were retooling the Vulcan assembly line to mass produce them. Yeah, that's what they were doing. They retooled the assembly line to mass produce Vulcan boosters. Yeah. And in hindsight, this is one that I didn't see coming, but in hindsight it makes sense. Tori Bruno all the time on Twitter was like, oh, is Vulcan only... People are like, oh, is Vulcan only going to fly? Why don't you fly Vulcan as much as Falcon 9? And he's always freaking said, I will if the market is there. Very cryptic. Very cryptic. You want to know why the BE-4 got delayed? Because Amazon decided to buy, 40 of them over the next 5 years. That's a lot of rocket engines. It's not... Now, don't get me wrong. That's not SpaceX, but that's still a lot. That's very, very up there. I honestly think these delays for the BE-4 were literally because they were scaling it, and scaling it does take longer. They scaled the BE-4. They needed to scale it more than what they originally anticipated, because the BE-4 was never supposed to fly with Vulcan. It was only supposed to fly with New Glenn. The fact that they brought Vulcan on board, and then they bought 38 Vulcan launches. Now, and they had to scale all that before Vulcan was mandated to fly a mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. But then they moved that mission over to Atlas V. Do you want to know why they let them move that mission over to Atlas V? To let them make sure that they had enough Vulcans, and they're going to have enough Vulcans for the next bajillion years. You don't go to the Space Force and say, I can't launch your satellite because I don't have enough rockets. The Space Force would be like, what are we paying you for then? Right? No. ULA probably went to the Space Force and said, look, we're ramping this up so we can make a ton of boosters down the road. We need Atlas to pick up the slack. Because we're ramping up this production line. Okay. Yeah, sure, you can launch on Atlas V. Does that make more sense? That makes more sense than the first way. They were behind schedule in informing the public. Well, they don't need to know. You don't need to know. It's because they were scaling, Ando. You got to scale. When it comes to military launches, SpaceX may no longer be the low-cost provider. Space Force awards ULA SpaceX contracts for 4 NSSL missions, or national security missions. "38 Vulcan launches, man. And don't get me wrong, that's 38 rockets just for Project Kuiper. 38 just for Project Kuiper, which is unbelievable. That's on top of all the NSSL contracts, everything. ULA needs to make like 50 boosters over the next 5 years. Like, yeah, that's the delays. The delays were scaling production, no doubt. Like, there's no other way. But also, that's pretty neat. Yeah, Bacon. Who knows? Stop the press. Stop the press. Eric Berger said something positive. Have a great weekend, everyone. Some pretty great things are happening in space right now with Webb nearing scientific observations, SpaceX providing a reliable space trampoline, Starliner back on a rocket, Artemis spacesuit contracts coming, and much more. Yeah, all rockets good. Really wish you'd understand that. Pretty much, Poison. You got it. That's what happened. And then everybody misconstrued that as a delay. Even me. Even me. Dude, I didn't read too much into it. I didn't read too much into it, you know? I missed it. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Stop the press. Your panini is getting burned. Hindsight's 2020. Well, absolutely, Poison. And you know, like I said, I fully admit that I didn't see it coming. You know, I missed this one. This was a curveball. I'm usually good at this, but yeah, no, totally missed it. Totally missed it. Anyway, so that's pretty cool, Vulcan. That's really funny. All right, so next bit of thing here is that this morning Starlink did launch. And this is a virtual railfan channel that caught this. The Starlink launch was great. It was the 12th flight for booster number 1058. Falcon 9 serial number 1058. It was the booster that delivered, the first flight was in 2020 when it delivered Demo 2 up into space. And then it's done 6 Starlink missions, Anasis 2, Transporter 3, Transporter 4. It's done a lot. But this launch was one of the better ones because it was just at the crack of dawn. And whenever it's at the crack of dawn, you usually get something like this. The sun illuminates the plume because the plume is backlit. It will fly this year, Daitor. So, fellas, ain't that a B? What do you think that is? Yeah, also virtual railfan is dope. Yep. You know, it's a good segue from the train news. That's some supersonic retro propulsion, baby. It's aliens. Yep. Cursed rocket request. Zay, I need you to make me a Delta 4 Heavy, but the Delta 4 Heavy has Atlas boosters on the side. Delta 5 Atlas Heavy 4. Yep. He said the thing! There it is. Supersonic retro propulsion right there. No, seriously. Zay, you're thinking about it, right? And you're like, oh, okay, that could work. Now really think about it. Carolox boosters, Hydrolox core stage. With a Hydrolox second stage. GEMs on all cores? No. Super heavy with Atlas SRBs? Oy. So, there was the Starlink mission, and then last night, if you haven't seen this footage, man, this footage is... So watch this. This was from the Crew 3 splashdown last night. We had some of the gnarliest footage ever. Look at this. There it is. There's Dragon coming down. Watch. They had infrared on this thing, but man, this is the crispest IR camera I've ever seen. It's real crisp. There was the Crew 3 presser. Yeah, Novus, that's right. I have that open from when you linked it last night, I think, but I'll open it again. Yeah, I'll probably listen to that one off stream. And this is current civilian tech. There's your drogues. Now watch this. This is awesome. The main shoot deploy was so clean, dude. Is this from a boat? Yep. How quickly does the heat shield cool down? Well, Lig, it's pretty hot right now, isn't it? So, interesting. The chutes are bright white, huh? This should tell you how hot it is. Those chutes are actually really freaking warm. But look, as they unfurl, they start to gray out. See that? And they start to cool down to ambient. Now, you're gonna say, like, really? Is it cooling? Is it really cooling, EJ? They haven't seen any color change. Watch. Ready? Air cooling, baby. Isn't that sick? Isn't that cool? That's really freaking neat. They're cooling off, and look at how hot Dragon is on the outside right now. It's still super bright. Now watch this. All right, here, let me sploosh. Here, let back it up. Ready? I'll show you. Without the YouTube UI there. Now, see how hot the capsule is? Look at it. It's toasty. And it almost tipped. But you can see the cooler parts of the capsule are where the parachute mortars were. Chutes coming down. Now here, watch the capsule. It'll get grayer and grayer and grayer and grayer over time. It's going to cool off. See? You can literally see it cooling down. And then by the time the fast boats get their Lig, it's good enough to touch. And then here's the crazy part. Look, they had drones out there. They had a drone out there, man. Look at that. That's a shot I've never seen. I just did toasted, yeah. Mostly wanted to know if the touchdown makes a big cloud of water vapor. I'm going to guess it probably does, Lig, but you got to remember the water in Florida, we checked. The water in Florida at this time is 78F. The water, because Florida. So, the cooling wouldn't be as quick as you might think. Yeah, see? But see, look at how much of this is still carrying heat. And then we had that camera, actually color footage. And I commented at the time, look at the color of the water. That's what the water looks like in Florida. The ocean near my house doesn't look like that. It does not look like that. It's green. It's not that. Look at that blue. If you watch the splashdown again, the left side has steam coming off of it when it pops back out. Cool. Oh, the tea dirtying it up. Yeah, that's probably right. Look at this. Yeah, that's probably why it's green. That makes sense. I'll get to the... And then they brought the capsule up. Ready for diving. Ready? Yeet! Best job ever. And then they brought that capsule up, set it down on the pineapple slice. And then somebody didn't tension the pulleys to pull the dragon capsule into the dragon's nest. Because watch this. Watch the capsule. They didn't tension the line first. This is what happens when you don't tension the line. The capsule goes, okay, we moving now? Okay, we're moving now. Yeah. What do you do for SpaceX? Well, I hose down the capsule after it's come back from space. Yeah, they do, Jim. I'm convinced.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
And then we got all 4 crew 3 out of the capsule here. They brought the gurneys out. Raju was out. Then Tom. SpaceX Waterboy. Shannon has now recovered 14 crew. Sweet. Kayla was the 3rd one out. After spending about 160 days up there. They were up there for a good amount of time. And then Matthias Maurer coming out there. There you go, from the European Space Program. And that's it. Crew 3 went off without a hitch. And once again, I said it at the time. I don't think people realize how easy SpaceX is making this look. This is not easy. It's not easy to do this. Yeah, Joey, I'm with you. It's not easy to do this, but they're doing it and they're making it look simple. It's pretty crazy. Pretty dang crazy. You can still see some of the NASA logo there. Got a little bit burnt. This part got a little toasty right there. But Crew 3 did come down without a hitch. Starlink went off. 12 flights for booster 1058. SpaceX is just absolutely just eating everybody's lunch right now. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And you know what the nutty part of this is? Guess what? 4 more days, another Starlink launch. Yep. 2:50 in the afternoon on the 10th of May, we have another Starlink going out. And then guess what? 6 days after that, another one. And then guess what? 2 days after that, we got Starliner. And then a couple of days after that, we got Capstone. And then Nilesat. Just, oh. You see these launches? These guys right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is a lot of launches, man. A lot of launches. 6 launches in April. Yeah, Katanger, that's unbelievable. Six freaking launches. Falcon 9 is so guys. This is okay. I don't want to take the thunder away from SpaceX because that is an amazing achievement. This is what they wanted to do with the space shuttle. The space shuttle was supposed to fly on this frequency, probably maybe not even this frequency, but close. It was supposed to, which is unbelievable, man. Can you imagine launching a shuttle all this time? That would be really freaking cool. But hey, I understand why we didn't do that. Hey, as long as someone's doing it. If SpaceX is going to do it, Falcon 9, whatever. Falcon 9's good. I'll take it. I'm not picky at this point. I'm not picky at this point at all. So, a lot of launches coming out. SpaceX just absolutely destroying any and all expectations. Elon's just literally wiping his tail with said expectations. Like, oh, this is how much you launch into space? Ugh. Here you go. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. Like, I can't say that any better. Starlink 415 will feature a new booster, a first for a Starlink mission. A new booster? What is that? What does that word mean? What do those words mean? New booster? I don't understand that one. Just wait till Starship and Super Heavy are doing it this fast or faster. So, you guys want to see Starship on the list of launches? Well, I might have some good news for you. They say good things come to those who wait. Good news, everyone. Bad news. No. The FCC has granted SpaceX a license for experimental orbital demo and recovery test of the Starship test vehicle from Boca Chica, Texas. Look at when the date starts. 5/21. Now, look at this tweet from Mike Baylor over at Next Spaceflight and NASA Spaceflight. Look at this one. Section 106 review for Starship from Boca Chica is complete. The FAA appears to be on track to release the environmental assessment by the end of the month. I have to say, I think that's pretty conclusive evidence to say that Starship is game on for the end of May. Yep. I'd have to say that they're pretty game on. Pretty game on. Yeah. All they got to do is just knot up some details for the environmental assessment. It's the last step on the programmatic environmental assessment review. I'm pretty sure they wanted that extra month extension just to make sure everything was good to go. I see a road trip in your future. Yep, Gwen said that they are targeting June or July for the OFT of Starship. Yeah, Thomas, late May, ended early June. Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, I would say that's about right. That gives you a pretty damn good projection. And now I have a deadline for finishing the F-250 because I need to fit. Yep, okay. Yeah, I got to do that. Yeah, we need to get that done because I'm going. Ship 20 and Booster 4? Unlikely, yes. It's probably going to be Ship 24 and Booster 8. Yeah, that would be my guess. But, now keep in mind, the FCC is not the FAA. Different thing. But the FCC did give a license. And the license date when they start is pretty damn telling. 5/21, end of May. So, that coupled with most of the steps being complete on that programmatic environmental assessment, I'd say to kick the summer off, we're going to do that. We're going to kick the summer off with a Starship flight. And you know what? We're going to end the summer with an SLS flight. And it's going to be pretty dope. Summer 2022, it's going to be pretty cool. Yep. Do you think Booster 7 will conduct some tests? It is back on the pad. Yeah, Booster 7's back on the orbital launch mount. Tactical. They fixed it. Right, AJ? I'm with you. Are they going to recover all engines on splashdown? I don't know, Apocalypsis. I don't know. When's the next crew rotation for the Russians? They rotated a crew like a month ago, so it's not good. It's going to be a little while. The space agency looking pretty crippled right now. It's just like Ariane Space. Ariane Space landed the biggest contract they've ever been bestowed ever a month ago. Switchio, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Ariane 6 has booked up launches to like 2025. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. You driving from Boca to Titusville? Maybe. I agree, Buck. I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to assume, you know? Like, I don't like doing that. I don't like assuming things, but if the FCC says it's going to be ready by the end of May, there's no way they would release that without... They would talk to the FAA. Oh, when are you guys going to be done? At the end of May. All right, cool. As a note, the FCC thing is just one that they keep extending. One of the first occurrences was in December of last year. Yep. It's a 31-hour drive from where to where, Sawyer? Hold on, Sawyer. Hold on. It's a 31-hour drive. You're talking to the person that drove a truck across the entire country and it took like a week. 31-hour drive? All right, so what? From Boston to Tejas? Okay, sure, no problem. So what? I don't know what to tell you. They have the Ariane 6. Launch it then. Swishio, Project Kuiper. Amazon bought 15 Ariane 6 launches. I'm telling you. The European Space Agency and Kness is not in the dumps. No way. Roscosmos? Yeah, maybe. But they won't get rid of the space station. They really don't. Because you know what? That's their only revenue stream right now. Yeah. That's the only reason for Roscosmos to exist. The Chinese don't want to work with them. Yeah, funny. I can only give you 13.5. All right, that's fair. Now, Sawyer, I'm not worried. You know what I probably will do? I'll probably drive down to Jacksonville and then drive down 95 to Jacksonville and then go over that way. Drive on the Gulf Coast because awesome. Yeah. So we'll out now. You know what? I think Tough Enough should be ready to ride. That gives me a pretty good deadline now that I'm thinking about it. Tough Enough should be ready to ride by the end of this month. Yeah, I should do that. Now, should I go to SLS or Starship? Is the Pope Catholic? Ian, one thing that I did say when Russia signed the MOU with China a couple years ago about working on the lunar program together, I called bullcrap on that right away. There's no way. I said that was stupid. I said that there's no way that's going to happen. And if it is, what the Chinese are going to do is bleed your space program dry until you're dependent on their space program to fly into space. I'm 100% sure Dmitry Rogozin knew that. I'm 100% sure, because if it's one thing he doesn't want to be screwed around with, is his revenue streams. That's why he's still with the ISS. Because he tanked the OneWeb contract. There's no other reason for Soyuz to exist. What, are you going to make your own space station? Okay. Have fun with that. So you're gonna dip out of the ISS and start building your own space station? That's going to take years. Your program will literally... The space program will tank. I knew them working with the Chinese was butt kiss. That was a load of crap. It was symbolic. They did it as symbolism. Right? I knew they wouldn't do it. I knew they wouldn't freaking do it. And the Chinese don't want to work with them because China wants to do it itself. The Chinese space program wants China to launch Chinese astronauts on Chinese rockets from Chinese soil. You picking up what I'm laying down here? They don't want to work with anybody. They want to show that they can do it themselves. I can understand that. You know, American rockets from with American astronauts from American soil. I can understand that. Sure, absolutely. Yeah, oh yeah, Ando, yeah. Dude, they can't pull it. Like, okay, I might eat my words on this, Ando. They can't do that. Russia can't pull out of the ISS. They pull out of the ISS, their space program dies. That's it. It's not even a judgment call. Why is there any need to make any more Soyuz, except for the Ministry of Defense? In which case, Roscosmos ends up being like ULA in the early 2000s, where they launch like once a year. Okay, have fun with that. What happened to Rogozin's Twitter? He went off the rails, Tactical, but it's very obvious that it's all just talk. And guess what's cheap in spaceflight? I could say right now, I'm going to make my own space program. I'm going to start the real EJSA and we're going to go to the moon by 2030. I could say that. You know that that's bullcrap. Talk is cheap, baby. Talk is cheap. Can I buy in round one? I mean, Katra, in the reality, if I was going to really start the EJSA and make it a real company, you know what I'd work on? Reusable small sat technology. Rocket Lab seems to be onto something there. I really think they are. You got to do it in scale. You got to do it in scale. So reuse pays off if you're launching small sats. And building small rockets is easier than building big rockets by a factor of like by multiple factors there. Talk is the only thing that's cheap. And the presser from a guy that lives in Moscow. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, anyway. That's talk is cheap, guys. They can't, dude. He can't pull out of the ISS. We know that. He knows that. Everyone knows that, except for the people that say, "Oh, Russia's gonna pull out of the space station." Huh? Only people that don't understand what's going on here say that kind of stuff. Guess who said that kind of stuff? Actually, you know what's funny? I'll give credit where credit is due. Eric Berger has been saying the opposite of what you'd think. You know what he's been saying? It's all talk, and he's right. He's correct. I'm not going to say that he's wrong all the time, because that's right. It's all talk. He knows it's all talk. You can't do it. You're screwed if you do. Your space program dies. So this is one of the rare circumstances where he's actually 100% right. I agree with him. Anyway, next bit of space news. So Starship's looking good. I'd say game on by the end of this month. For real. It's really starting to look like it's coming together, so that's good. We're going to take a little bit of a quick break here and pause for the cursed rocket image of the day. You want to cringe? You got cringe. Whoop. 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 I don't know what should I like this or should I like this? I don't know. I don't know. It's Ariane 5 with a Starliner on top. Is this cool or not? I can't tell. Report the image immediately. Is it cold? Took me a second. Revert to vehicle assembly building. Hypersonic, that's funny. That's the funniest thing. No. This was a mistake. Revert. Oh my god. This one is even worse. Do I want to know? Oh boy. Daily cursed rockets. ULA Ariane 5. I don't hate it. That'd actually be a pretty good rocket, to be honest with you. This is a Photoshop, right? Yeah, it's a Photoshop. It's a Delta 4 core. It's a Delta 4 CBC with Ariane 5 boosters on the side. And an Ariane 5 fairing? I think that's an Ariane 5 fairing. No, that's an Atlas fairing. It's got an Atlas 551 fairing on it, a Delta 4 center stage that's been shortened, and Ariane 5's boosters. You know what? That would actually be a pretty damn good launch vehicle. Oh my god. You know, like that. I don't know. Is that cursed? That's not bad. That would be a pretty good launch vehicle. I mean, yeah, exactly, Snow. Your TWR would be like, how fast do you want to go? Yes. Delta 4 core stages are pretty damn strong, Jax. They're designed to have boosters attached to the side. Other core stages attached to each other. Delta 4, can you, I mean, think about that for a second. Delta 4 can have... Delta 4 out of the box can do that. Now, anybody that follows Falcon Heavy knows that it's not as simple as just taping 3 boosters together. Delta 4 can do that, no problem. Each one of these side boosters could be the center booster. You just change the inner stage to a nose cone. That's what I mean. That's Delta 4's beast, man. It's a great design. I propose a challenge. Make all the cursed rockets in KSP and make them work. Why would you wish that evil on me, Ando? Why would you do that? That needs SLS's SRBs instead. Okay, Hellfish. I got an idea. What if we take Delta 4, okay? Take Delta 4, and we take the center booster, and we widen it from 5.4 to 8.4, okay? And then, you know, we take the 3 RS-68s and add 2 more and put 5 of them at the bottom of this core, and then we give it SLS's SRBs. And then, you know, that little ICPS on the top would make it so you could only, like, move an Orion capsule out to the moon. You know, if we're going to do this, we're going to go hard, right? So we'd need an 8.4 meter upper stage. So, but why don't we reactivate the J2 program and give it a J2 upper stage on an 8.4 meter diameter core upper stage? Girth matters. See? Subs knows. So, yeah, here, let me just draw up a quick picture. I'll show you how this would look. Yeah, here we go. Just gotta go into paint, just draw it up. Let's do some vector art in paint. It'll look really good. 8.4 meter core, 5 segment SRBs, 5 RS-68s. Here we go. It'll look something like that. Why do we take KSP and use Condor side boosters for your new rocket? Because I may or may not be designing the MLV's core stage to be able to be side boosters on the big vehicle. I really wish I didn't say that out loud, because now people are going to want that. Damn it. Do it now! No! Yeah! Stick rocket! See, you know what we could even do, Ian? You know what we could even do? We could take one of... Speaking of, like, taking boosters from your heavy rocket and using it for a smaller rocket. They did that during the Saturn program. It's a really good idea. Right? You know what we could do? Take one of these guys, right? And then put... Oh, I don't know. Like, you know, take that same upper stage engine right there and make a cryogenic hydrolock second stage. You know, you can't make it 3.7 in diameter like the booster is, right? But you know, you could, you know, because Ares 5 is Delta derived, you could take something like a Delta 4 center booster and, you know, put that J2 on it and then, like, put like a capsule on it or something. Here, I upgraded the vector art. Here, let me show you what that would look like. It would look something like this. See? You see how this is basically just a smaller version of that? Yeah, see, that would be a really good idea. NASA should do something like this. Yeah, see? That way, you know, you have literally one contractor that makes your first stage for your heavy booster and your first stage for your medium booster all at once. Like, huh. And then, like, maybe you can start flying this one first and get some flight data on the second stage engine. So when you go to make your second stage, you already have flight data. That would make it easier to make. Oh. Man, that would be a cursed rocket, wouldn't it? Did I lay it on too thick? I laid it on too thick, didn't I? Just a bit. just a bit. Just a bit. I never want to see that picture again, Creeper. Thick as cream. Ah, all the missed opportunities. We get it, you space. And then you proceed to save 30 billion. Thomas, I got another idea. Let's pay the billions of dollars that we need to human rate a launch vehicle and then never launch anyone on it. High five! A great success! Sounds like a great idea. You guys are worse than us. That's bad. I mean, that's bad, man. Holy crap. That's pretty bad. Burns Kness logo. All right, Thomas. While we're on the subject of really good cursed space ideas, okay. All right. You know, the moon, right? At certain times of the month, hear me out. The moon at certain times of the month will be to the east, all right? Okay? And, you know, we want independent commercial companies going to the moon, right? That's what Bill said. You know, do we need commercial to the moon because that levelizes the playing field, right? So, if the moon is to the east and you need independent companies, all right, like indie companies, indie commercial companies, and Thomas, you're Dutch. We could start a commercial contractor that sends payload to the moon and call it the Dutch East Indies company. That'll work, right? Yeah, that'll work. That's a great name. Can we give it a license for a private army? You know, maybe if, you know, we go to the moon and then somebody doesn't like us going to the moon, but we, you know, commercial contractors, we need the competition. So maybe. I don't think that will go well nowadays. You don't think so? Huh. Has that been done before? I feel like, oh man, I'm getting the weirdest deja vu right now. Getting the weirdest thing. And then maybe we could sell options on the profits of each ship on like a stock exchange? Hey, that sounds like really NFT-esque, okay? I don't know, man. That sounds like a Ponzi scheme. Right? Nothing exploitative about that. Boo, your baby was born and it's a boy. Oh, congratulations. That's awesome. That's cool, man. That's really cool. That's awesome, dude. How many kids now? You have 7 kids? You have 7 kids, dude? For reals? That's impressive. Jeez, did you watch Hunger Games or something? When they said, may your aim be true, what do you think they were talking about? That's awesome, dude. No, sweet. There's nothing wrong with having a big family. I have a big family. Well, cousins, but that's cool, man. That's really cool. Good for you. Fantastic achievement. Boo, you ever stared at them, marveled at their beauty, their genius? Did you know, chat, that the first kid that Boo had was designed to be the perfect kid? You know, and we refine till you get to the 7th version before you. I omitted some parts because I didn't want to say that about kids. Did you know about the Zambian space program? I don't. Hitachi Heavy Industries versus SpaceX. SpaceX has the head start, but in Japan, business is war. I wonder if something like that would ever happen. Isn't it Fuji Heavy Industries? He's called the Stig. I'm laughing right now. Thanks, bro. Well, hey, man. Anybody that... See, boo, never had kids of my own, but my sibling had a kid back in January, dude, and it changed my entire perspective on that. That is a process, man. That's a process, okay? That's a process, dude. Yeah. Yeah. The fact that you've done it 7 times, holy crap, man. I'm very respectful here. That's good for you. That is a process. Long-term investment. Yep. It's like you're a farmer, right? You go and plant the seeds, right? Takes some time, but then you reap what you sow later, right? Step 1. Well, you got to till the soil somehow, Wave Thrash. We're talking about farming, right? Like Clarkson's farm? It's like R&D. The first one is always the hardest. Yes. Lots of work, but nothing will ever be compared to my kids. Best thing ever. Yeah. Boo. I might be becoming an old man. Not might. Yeah, no. As I get older, man, the people and family in my life is, dude, wouldn't trade that for nothing. Not even space, to be honest with you. Like, it's true. This might sound a little bit weird coming from me, but yeah, that's way too important, man. You know, like, Ian, I know you and I have talked about this. I don't want to be alone. No, that ain't happening. And then you just land your boosters routinely. Wait, what does that have to do with farming? Yeah, there you go, Mars. Yeah. Can't wait to see EJ at Bill Nelson, old and still streaming. Yeah, then I'll be talking very slowly like this. And, you know, let's be real, 50 years down the road, I'm probably going to still be saying that canceling Constellation was a mistake. Yeah. Yep. Maybe Twitch will have a 1.5x function by then. Or maybe I could just talk fast, so like actually if you want to slow down the video or something, then you're gonna have to hit the the 0.5 speed on the VOD replay, so you can actually like make sure that you can understand what the heck I'm saying, right? Or I could just pretend to talk really freaking fast. This is actually really difficult to do because I end up talking like William Shatner because I say everything really quick and then I have to pause because I have to think about the next thing that I'm gonna say. I don't like doing that. Can we not do that? Yeah, Hedgie, if I talk at 1.5 times the speed, I could get 1.5 times percent the content out of the stream, man. Anyway, so next bit of news here. Check this out. Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to look at the picture first. I don't know about you guys. I look at the pictures first and then I read. It's such a stupid habit to be in, but also, I'm just gonna take like that. Yeah, that's nice. All right, let's go over here. Let's read. Engineers replaced the valve and performed tests to address a hydrogen leak. Artemis 1 update. Engineers replaced the valve and performed tests to address the hydrogen leak. Once all major work is complete, NASA ground system teams will be prepared to will prepare the integrated SLS and Orion for the next wet dress rehearsal attempt. The wet dress rehearsal is probably going to happen sometime this month, maybe a little bit longer, and then roll back in June, and then roll out in July. If everything goes right, the second kind of round of attempts for the wet dress rehearsal, they're probably going to find more things, guys. I'll be honest with you. They'll probably find more things. It's a complicated vehicle. NASA's targeting the end of July. But once again, I talked in detail about this yesterday when we reviewed the Artemis 1 update press conference from yesterday. Long story short, Moon has to be in the right place. The Moon is only in the right place once every 3.5 weeks. So I thought they said June for the wet dress. Yeah, June for the wet dress. Maybe. It really depends. What I'm trying to get at is it really depends. It depends on how quickly they figure out why there are some other outstanding line items on the, maybe we should fix that list. Yeah, that's the technical term for it. Oh, maybe we should fix that. It's going to make some noise when it goes. Oh, it's going to be loud. Yep. So, how many times do you think they'll actually scrub when they attempt to launch? I'm guessing 3. It's probably going to happen, Wiser. When you do this type of testing, there's when you test and you fly the way that NASA does, which, like I said, different from SpaceX. It's two sides of the same coin. Though. You're launching things into space, right? The way that NASA does it is that if there's anything wrong, you stop. Then you figure out why it's wrong, and then you pick up the count again. You guys got to remember, NASA is basically doing iterative testing here, right? You start at step 1, which is roll the rocket out to the pad, right? And then, you go through all your steps and you get to step 1,000, right? And that's launch the vehicle. And every attempt with the wet dress rehearsal, they get a little bit further and they get a little bit further and they get a little bit further. It's like iteratively testing your countdown sequence, straight up. But every time you find something you don't like, stop and go back. And they get a little bit further every time. They'll get a little bit further every time until we launch and everything goes right. If they adhere to that testing, which I think they will. So, yeah, once again, if it happens in June, it happens in June. If it happens in July, it happens in July. An SLS launch on the 4th of July would be pretty cool, but I don't think the Moon's in the right place, which... That's annoying, but whatever. But, if it happens at the end of the summer, it happens at the end of the summer. Guys, the point is that this is we're still not many a months out from a Moon launch. It does get delayed, You want, ideally, everything to go right with the wet dress rehearsal, but you're going to run into something somewhere. You got to weed out all that anomalous behavior. That's really important with how NASA tests. Now, SpaceX, they just send it. If it blows up, pick up the pieces later. Because that's the type of testing that they do. Elon obviously thinks that failure is the best teaching, right? If the vehicle blows up in your face, the vehicle that you spent months working on, if it just blows up in your face, well, you're not going to forget the reason why, because it hurts to see all that work just go up in flames. I mean, it's true. Failure is a damn good motivator. You can say whatever you want. You're some people do not learn like that. Yeah, some people don't learn like that. We'll leave it at that. But it's like iterative testing and agile for software. Yeah, Hammer Nails. So yeah, this should get done relatively quick, but it depends on the severity of the problem. We got to launch at the end of the summer. That's fine. I'd rather take an extra 2 months than them trying to send it now and have it blow up. Right? That's fine. I don't like that it's getting delayed, and I said it wouldn't get delayed this much myself. I was wrong. Ironically, Eric Berger kind of predicted. He said it would launch in the summer of 2022 at the beginning of this year. So once again, credit where credit is due. He did say that, and I thought he was full of crap. But that's about right. So whoever's whispering in his ear that it's going to launch then really knows what they're talking about. It's somebody that knows things about SLS. My problem is, when you hear that, you bypass over everything that NASA says about testing, and you say, oh, they're going to launch in 6 months. It's going to get delayed. Wow, what a waste of money. It's like, okay. Whew. Okay, but once again, he was right in this regard. That's cool. It's like you got the right answer, but you used the wrong formula. Do they already have enough Raptor 2s to launch? You're gonna make me scrum. You said it though. SpaceX is months of work, where NASA is years. Yeah, that's right, John. First launch window is in July. Is the 5th? That's my birthday. Yeah, see, I was supposed to be born on the 4th. True story, but can't steal the thunder from Old Glory. You know what I'm talking about? So I was, it was late a day. It makes sense. It's me. Let's just take the moon and put it somewhere else. Yeah, Earth does that every month, Ian. Why don't we just take the moon and put it over there? Do those Artemis delays impact Artemis 2 and 3? By that, no, not really, Finn. No. Honestly, okay, this one I might be pulling out of my tail, but I've looked at what's called the Artemis IMS. It's called the Integrated Master Schedule, and it's another one of those NASA thingamajigs. What is the Integrated Master Schedule? They're engineers, all right? They're not good at coming up with names. It is just the Master Schedule, Integrated Master Schedule. It's basically the tech tree for the entirety of the Artemis program. From what I've seen from that, there's no launches in 2023. No launches of SLS in 2023 until Artemis 2 rolls around in 2024. That downtime there's a lot of slack built into that downtime to be able to assess all the data from Artemis 1. That's going to be the big thing. That's what NASA... So NASA has to basically get all the data from the entire Artemis 1 mission. And, they always say, oh, we need to look at the data. We got to look at the data. What does that mean? What does that mean? They're going to look at everything that happened during the Artemis 1 mission. All the events that happened in real time on that rocket. And then they're going to compare that to their simulation architecture. So they're going to compare that to their original analysis. And if they match up, well, boom, you got a baseline. That means the vehicle did exactly what you thought it was going to do. It's performing as expected. That's what that's called, right? If the higher of the percentage of Artemis 1 that matches their original analytical model, the shorter that data analysis time takes. And that will be a shorter period if you take your time here on the front side of the mission, right? Not in retrospect, right? The closer they can get the actual telemetry to the analytical model, so basically the math saying what it's going to do and what it actually does, the closer those get together, the better. But you still have to go through the mountain of telemetry from sending a capsule all the way out to the moon, having it come back, trans-Earth injection, how the heat shield performs, etc., etc. And you got to go through all that. That is going to take time no matter what. It's not like SpaceX where someone probably wrote a neural net to compare the data and it gets done in 5 minutes, right? NASA does it old school, right? That's just how it rolls. That was their engineering criteria. That's stakeholder expectations. They do it differently. Think about it like, if you're playing like soccer with your buddies, right? You don't adhere to all the rules, right? Because that's your guys' game, right? It's not like an MLS game or a FIFA game, right? You might have a little different rule, like, oh, we don't like the offsides rule, or oh, we allow slide tackles or something, right? Like, NASA's game plan is different than SpaceX's game plan, but they're both playing the same sport, so to speak, right? So, is it, Finn, let me bring it back in to answer your question? No, not really. No. Even, God forbid, like if something went wrong, right? I mean, I don't know. They might need to do another requalify if something went wrong. But, even if it does delay like 6 months, I'd say as long as it launches in 2022, you're giving yourself enough slack for the next mission. Because the next mission is going to be almost the exact same thing. except completely different in every way because you're putting people on the rocket. Big difference. Big difference. Now the stakes go up here. You increasing your factor of difficulty pretty hard. They're reusing avionics from Artemis 1 on Artemis 2. I can't remember off the top of my head if they've procured a second set for A2 in case A1 is delayed. That seems like the prudent thing to do, Novus, don't you think? That's what I would do. That sounds like NASA to me. If the real Artemis 1 is done better than the simulation, no, W, you're not thinking about that right. No. What do you mean if it's, dude? Overperformance is just as bad as underperformance. It's not about overperforming or underperforming. If they expect, I'm making up numbers here, okay? Just completely making up numbers. If they expect SLS to have, let's see, 15 kilometers a second delta V, and it has 1,700 kilometers a second delta V, well, yeah, that is overperforming. But that also means that math is wrong. That means your analysis and your numbers that you came up with, that means your engineering is wrong. There's a huge 2,000 or 2 kilometers a second discrepancy here. That's, yeah, great. You got the booster back, but it's not about overperforming or underperforming, right? Or you got your capsule back because you had way more delta V than you needed. It's not about overperforming or underperforming. Like if you go above your expectations, there's a nominal window. There's a nominal window, right? And that's based off of risk analysis and risk factor and probability of success, etc., etc. That's risk adversity, and there's a whole safety culture thing around risk aversion and stuff like that. But there's a long story short, it doesn't have to be pinpoint. It's within a nominal range. And the margin of range between to the point where it's good or overperforming, it could be 4%. It could be like that. But overperformance, especially when you're trying to baseline something, is just as bad as underperformance. Yeah, with overperformance, like I said, you'd get Orion back in the case of Artemis 1, and you'd have way more delta V left over. But that also means, despite you getting your capsule back and everything's honky-dory, you didn't account for a 2 kilometer a second delta V discrepancy there. That means your engineering is wrong. That means something didn't work how you thought it was going to work. That is the most important part. That part right there. If it didn't do what you thought it was going to do, that means something is wrong. That's deviant engineering, even though it's deviant engineering in your favor. That means your models weren't good enough. That means you did something wrong, and that means you don't understand what the heck you made. There's a reasonable gap of over and underperformance. NASA likes to go right above what their models will say. That's where the range nominal comes from. Nominal comes from a nominal window of success. You don't have to get it pinpoint. That's really hard to do, to get pinpoint accuracy in space. Meanwhile, Tori Bruno's over there going, no, it's not. Right? That damn Centaur stage. But there's usually a single-digit percentage nominal window over and under performance. You want to just barely get above, just barely. You want to either hit it on the bullseye is the best result. A little bit of overperformance is not bad, but see, that in itself really depends. How much do you want it to overperform? Well, it depends on what it is. Do you want your SRBs to overperform? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. It depends. Do you want your life support systems to underperform on your spacecraft? Man, hell no. That would be very bad. That would be very bad to screw that up. You wouldn't want to screw that up. Do you want your launch escape system to underperform? Hell no. No way. But do you want it to overperform either? No. It'll liquefy the people on board if they have to escape from the vehicle. What is this, Mars? What if your toilet underperforms? Well, you're going to need the plunger. And NASA, what I'm trying to tell you, Lazarus, is that NASA does not want to take the plunger out. facts. All right. Anyway, Thomas, what's this next picture? Look where L85 was encapsulated. Looks like a shuttle pad. That's Slick 6. God damn it. That's a crappy analogy. So are you. Overperforming in some aspects can be bad, is what I'm taking from this. That's right, 619. It's not about overperforming. It's not about doing better than what you expected, even though that can be nice in some ways. But that's, you know what? That's bad. That tells me you don't know what you just put on the pad and sent. That's the problem. That's what NASA's trying to alleviate. They're trying to get that failure margin down not that margin. They're trying to get that deviation margin down to an acceptable figure. You don't want the rocket to do what Ares 5 was going to do off the pad, because it's not Ares 5, it's SLS. If it's performing like Ares 5, that means you didn't do something right. Interesting, Thomas. All right, so we do still have a Starship update to do, but I wanted to clue you guys into Draco here. There was a short article from Space News yesterday, and I want to tell you guys about the Draco program. Just like a shuttle's pad, it's going to be abandoned soon. I should time you out for that blasphemous statement. It's about performing as expected. Bingo, 619. You got it, man. Performing as expected. You got to know what you made. You got to know what you made, right? It's like working on a motor. 619, the same thing. I mean, the engineering tolerances aren't as crazy as they are for rockets, but in some places they are. Like, say you slam together like an old 318, right? And you put the wrong push rods in. You put push rods in it without a hole in the center. Actually, the 318 doesn't use that type of push rod lubrication system. 318s are lubricated from the roller shaft. Okay, say you had a Ford motor and you didn't put the self-oiling push rods in. You're going to break the engine really quick. It's not going to do what you want because you didn't put the right part in. That means you don't know what you're doing when you're building a motor, right? Same idea, same thing. Like, how about if you see somebody torquing a head down on an engine with an impact wrench? That's a pretty good indicator that that person has no idea what they're doing, right? It's about knowing exactly what you need to do to get the intended result. You see somebody torquing a head down with an impact wrench, they're going to overstretch the bolt, and the thing's going to blow a head gasket. You're going to pinch the gasket, and then you go to rev the thing, and the freaking motor explodes, right? Because you pinched a gasket. Satellite images of Roberts Road in 39A. But anyway, let me get you this nuclear-powered stuff here, and then we'll go see what's going on with Starship here. And then we'll go... I like your funny words, Magic Man. Is that what Fleetari did to your Satsuma? Maybe. Also, a Psyche video? Oh. Should get psyched up for that. Alright, here. So check this article out. I wanted to share this with you guys yesterday, but we ran out of time from the presser. DARPA is moving forward with development of nuclear-powered spacecraft. Okay. I know it just seems like this came out of nowhere. I want you to pause, count to 5, and read that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. DARPA's moving forward with development of nuclear-powered spacecraft. Read that, and if you know a little bit about space, consider the gravity, the gravity of that statement. John's like, did I hear nuclear? Nuclear? Where? Y'all got any more of that neutron flux? All right. The next phase of Draco is a full and open competition. The Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, and once again, this article is coming from Space News. Sandra Irwin over at Space News. Here, I'll link it up in chat if you guys want to go and read. Please go over there and check it out if you could. Support people, support people out there that are writing good articles about space, The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency on May 4th issued a solicitation for proposals for the next phase of a demonstration of a nuclear-powered spacecraft. The project, called Demonstration Rocket for Agile Cislunar Operations. Draco started over a year ago when DARPA selected a preliminary design for a rocket engine reactor developed by General Atomics and chose 2 conceptual spacecraft designs from Blue Origin and Lockheed Martin. The next phases of the program will focus on the design, development, fabrication, and assembly of a nuclear thermal rocket engine. DARPA will conduct a full and open competition, so this opportunity is not limited to the companies that participated in the first phase. The goal is to launch a flight demonstration of a nuclear thermal propulsion in fiscal year 2026. A single award is anticipated in Phase 2 of Draco. The objective is to complete preliminary and detailed design of a demonstration system and to construct and experimentally validate the nuclear thermal rocket flight engine. In Phase 3, the demonstration system will be built to host a nuclear thermal rocket for an in-orbit flight test. Scrum. DARPA is investing in nuclear propulsion for space vehicles in hopes of successfully demonstrating an engine that can fly across vast distances in cislunar space,
Discovery,
the area
go
between
throttle.
Earth and the Moon. Nuclear thermal propulsion achieves the highest thrust to weight similar to chemical propulsion. Achieves high thrust to weight similar to chemical propulsion, but with 2 to 5 times the efficiency. NASA is participating in the project with the goal of also using nuclear thermal propulsion for long-duration human spaceflight missions. Maneuvers more challenging in space due to propulsion system limitations, said Major Nathan Greiner, program manager at DARPA's Tactical Technology Office. To maintain technological superiority in space, the U.S. requires leaps ahead propulsion technology. Yeah, you know what? You guys can say whatever you want about the defense spending. If the DoD wants to get in on some nuclear propulsion, so and NASA ends up with something like the Hermes from The Martian, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's fine. We can do that. What's cislunar? It's the space between the Earth and the Moon. Yeah, yep. Jalao, 26-month resub. I like the sound of nukes. Yeah, it's pretty loud from what I've heard. The other night I watched a video on the U.S. National Archives about nuclear rocket engines. Cool stuff. NERVA, 900-second specific impulse at sea level, Ben. 900-second specific impulse at sea level. I'm not even mad. But there is, please show on stream. No, you don't get to say what gets put on stream. With that being said, I will show this. Don't do that again, though. I'll choose to show it on stream if I want to. That's going to be expensive. It very much seems like... Forgive me for being maybe a bit on the cynical side. Zay, I'll show this in a moment. It very much seems like if you pitch a space program as a matter of national security, it usually goes over well. Space shuttle. We need to reduce the cost of access into space because the DoD needs to launch a lot of payloads. It's a matter of national security. Oh, yep, it's a matter of national security. The Apollo program beat the Russians to the moon to show that we're better than them. It's a matter of national security. I mean, those are 2 pretty good case examples. Like, on the plus side, if there's a catastrophic failure with the propulsion system, we will get pretty fireworks. That's not how that works at all. Chill out, but yeah, if joke, I get it. Yep. That damn NERVA video. I showed it on break the other day, Sean. Yeah. I don't like watching that NERVA video. It gets get annoyed. All right, let's see, Zay. What cursed rocket have you cooked up today? Oh, yeah, this was the requested rocket. Oh, Blue Delta 4. No. Blue Delta 4 with Atlas 5 CCBs on the side. Yeah, Jackery, whatever. If it works, it works. It's actually really not bad. How did it perform, Zay? I must know. 2 Atlas V CCBs on the side with a Delta 4 center stage. And a Delta 4 upper with a 5-meter fairing. That's actually a pretty damn good launch vehicle, if I do say so myself. Yeah, maybe, Jackery, yeah. Yep. Do you have this playlist bookmark? Is that the National Archives Space Exploration playlist? Let me click on it. Yep. Yeah. Those are the videos that I put on, John. Yeah. I put on all those videos during break. I put on one today about Apollo. Well, the Atlases burn more than the Delta Core. Other than that, that is a big well, you got to throttle that RS-68. Throttle the RS-68. Can I suggest a cursed rocket design? They will probably build it. To be honest with you, they'll probably build it. Good point. Yes, please. Give it to me! Yep. All right. So, nuclear on the horizon. Not bad. Okay, so let's see what we got. We have 2 NSF vids to go through here for our Starship update. But first, we can go over to Harry Stranger here, and we'll, he has some high-res satellite imagery of Roberts Road in 39A that were taken yesterday. All right, let's see. Yeah, tower segments. Tower segments, all the footings for a chonker of a freaking factory. Oh, looks like they're grading something over here. Man, that looks, you could say that looks very girthy. This was in the news. Know anything about this? Fraud companies team up to make it possible to refuel securely in space. Oh, no, but that's cool. Neat. So that mystery box they're making at Boca Chica looks to have a similar slot as the Ship 24 payload bay. No, it can't be, Thomas. Yeah, Poison, exactly, right? It's kind of funny how that works. All right, what's the next thing? 39A, yep. Oh, baby. Oh, boy. Yeah. Yup. Rectangles! Pan to the left. Left? Oh, that's good too. Oh yeah, we watched that rocket fly this morning. Look at the big hex between the Starship Tower and the 39A mount. Huh? Right, left. Stop sign. What the hell is that? Ah. Crop circles. Yep. Landing pad? Well, aren't they supposed to catch the boosters, Jim? Like, it's telling us to stop peeking. Stop! No! Now, what Starship-related thing is in the same shape? Yeah. Is it that big, Thomas? That thing's for that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, right, caveman, right. Although the platform at 39 is way bigger. I was going to say, that's way too big to be that. It's definitely, those are definitely concrete forms around the edges, guys, and it's definitely rebar right there. So that's steel, basically steel, steel bars that are in a lattice. When you pour the concrete, if you pour concrete into a steel lattice, right? The concrete adheres to the rebar better, and it makes the concrete the concrete gets reinforced by the steel, and it adheres to it better. It makes it really strong. All of this over here is reinforced concrete, the entirety of the pad, because it needs to hold up the crawler transporter in Saturn V. That's what it was engineered for. And later space shuttles, and now just Falcon 9. But
Discovery.
Opture! Go for stop sign. Yeah. Test stand, you think? Maybe. There's clearly a square form inside of that, Thomas. I don't know what that square form is for. Also, interesting to note from Harry's picture here, the posts. The posts for the orbital launch platform are there. See them? 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Zach from CSI Starbase did some investigations. The tower base at 39A seems to have a lot more internal structure from the start. At Boca, they were working on the base for like 4 months while concurrently installing segments on the top. The mount for the Drawworks hoist seems to have been redesigned. I agree. Ugh. Kill it, Zay. Kill it with fire, please. Kill it with fire, please. Kill it with fire. I hate it. Interesting. Did you notice the corner of the diamond, the launch tower, isn't pointed directly at the launch mount foundation? Let me see, Jim. It's a bit offset. I don't think I remember that. I think that might be just the shadow, dude. What? Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe. It's hard to tell from this picture. Don't forget that the ground out there is trash. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Goalie, the other thing to note is that look, they're scraping the topsoil off again right here, and then they're laying it with a light sand. The lighter colored sand is good, solid ground, believe it or not. The lighter colored soil right here, the dark stuff is the stuff you got to be careful of. And I know that from looking at the stupid core samples because I'm a loser, right? Like, this is the same type of aggregate material that they're putting down on over here. See it right there? And also right there, and also right here. So I know that the lighter colored stuff is the stuff that's strong, right? Because this is down the street. The soil doesn't change a couple miles down the road. It's usually the same. So it's very clear that that whatever they're going to be staging here is going to be really, 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 really heavy. Or you could say it might even be a little bit super heavy. Looks like they expanded the right-hand side entrance to the pad as well. Yep. Notice the pillars to the north. Yeah, we saw that core. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this has all been paved out right there. That has the strong stuff. You can tell because the crane is sitting on it. There's another telescoping crane right there. That's original. That road is original architecture. There's the old landing pad. Looks like SpaceX is using it to stage stuff. And then there's a couple of Elon tents and fuel tanks sitting around here. That foundation is the foundation for the old Starship pad right there. They demolished that. I don't know what that's doing. It's just sitting there. The crane there alone will weigh in just shy of 2 million pounds. That should tell you, yeah, it should tell you what you need to know. Yeah, they're still doing something with the hydrogen tank over here, which is interesting. I think that they might be converting that tank for, they might be converted the tank to methane. That's the hydrogen tank, the shuttle hydrogen tank at 39A, and Saturn V before that. Interesting. Section 6 for the Starship Environmental Assessment has been completed. Yep. 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 I think it's going to be good by the end of this month, Liam. What do you think? That's what NSF keeps saying anyhow. Why else would they be touching it, Blue? Like, why else would you use it, right? There are 2 kettle reboilers on the old pad. Might be the lock storage. Yeah, I see them right there. I don't know what that is. It might be just a concrete slab for a test stand like this, Thomas. But what I'm noticing is that, look, whatever this is, it clearly, look, it has that, right? See the inner form right there? The inner form is rectangular, okay? Whatever that building is, you would design around these forms. So if they were going to put an octagonal pad on this inner form would also be octagonal, but it's square. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe they're going to put a flame deflector in, right? Maybe they'll put a flame deflector that shoots flames this way or shoots flames that way or shoots this way. You know what I mean? And maybe they'll put the thing around that, and that's just a mount point for a flame diverter because flame diverters are heavy. Maybe it's the Thunderdome. The Thunderdome. I fell into a giant Thunderdome. All right. Here's a little bit of a higher res picture of the same thing. Yeah, that's got to be a test stand. It has to be. What else would it be? There's helium tanks on the ground now, also locks. Oh, yeah, Hellfish? Cool. I thought he was having problems because I believe he's killing endangered birds and stuff. Yeah, Bizog, in this day and age, you can't take a crap without someone getting pissed off, so, yeah. I think that the FAA, is gonna, I mean, it's not that they don't care what they think. I think that, I think it's gonna go through, I don't know. A Starship holding staging area maybe for when the pad is getting loaded with super heavy. It could, you know what that could be, Thomas? Suborbital mounts at Boca were a square rectangle reinforced bit as well. Yeah, okay. Thomas, you know what it could be? It could be a payload changeout room. Maybe they're building a PCR. Maybe it's a payload changeout room. Maybe they're building a tall building, a tall integration facility there to put payloads inside a Starship before they send it over to the pad. That might be what's going on. It wouldn't be the first time a payload changeout room has been on the pad before. The rotating service structure was there for the longest time, and that was even closer to a launch pad. Joho, I don't mean this in any negative way towards you, but do you ever worry that some other militaries or space programs might use your insightful guesses for nefarious reasons? I don't share anything that isn't public knowledge, Joe. Yeah. I mean, I shoot stuff off the cuff from time to time, but I'm very careful about operational security, and I'm super careful about ITAR. I don't need people showing up at my house. I don't make enough money to have people showing up at my house. That's way above my pay grade. You know what I mean? No, I take that very seriously. Dude, I get trickles of information from all over the place, dude. I don't say nothing about it. That's part of the reason why I don't ever be like, oh, well, a little source told me this, or a little source told me this. I try really not to do that, especially when I'm talking about news. Most of my knowledge, right? Let me put it to you like this. Most of the knowledge that I have and most of my analyzation comes from given information. It doesn't come from inside sources like some people. It comes from given information. It's nothing that anybody couldn't go and look up on the internet. And I extrapolate details from that, right? Now, let's be real. Any other people that would be analyzing the same data probably would have access to more information than I would. So, honestly, the truth is that the reality of the situation is that, yeah, nothing, dude, once again, if you're using some dumb Twitch streamer for analyzation about spaceflight, yeah, I'm not an engineer. You probably shouldn't use my analysis for, figuring out how to launch rockets. It's probably not a good idea. No, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, it's probably not a good idea. Second of all, I don't say anything that isn't public information that anybody couldn't look up. And honestly, because I'm extrapolating off of publicly available information, there's that whole espionage thing that I'm not, that other countries do. We do it too. Like, they probably know more than I do, to be honest with you. But yeah, I still am careful about it just in case, because, rockets are a protected technology, right? And whether you have a problem with that or not, it's not really my concern. I don't want my business forfeited because I said something I shouldn't have. Okay? It's not about you. Stop making it about you. Shh. But yeah, no, Joe, I'm very careful with that stuff. I abide to operational security, DoD OPSEC. It's not really called that, but I abide by the operational security and ITAR stuff basically to a T. I'm very, very careful with that. Starship and Super Heavy holding pads next to each other at Boca Chica. Yeah, but it didn't look exactly like that, dude. But yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I left you this morning. You're still going strong. How did you do that? I slept for a couple of hours, Ma. I'm good. Python would follow your information about engineering, though. Yeah, right. Also, the tanks marked with the arrow have been getting some love as well since they were placed there for the original Starship stuff. Per Google Earth, there's now a concrete pad in front of them. Yep. Oh, yeah. Okay. But yeah, no, Joe, I don't take any offense to that. I really, and once again, anybody here that is active military or something, anybody here that's like active military or works for the DoD or is a contractor or is a top secret clearance knows that I abide by those rules just by how I talk. I do not share privileged information. Yeah, that's messed up. Dude, I don't even show pictures that the Space Force released. The Space Force one time showed a picture of Falcon 9's injector plate on the Merlin 1D, and I refused to show it. Because even the air, I will abide to that law more than the freaking Air Force would. Whoever the PAO was that took a picture of the freaking pintle injector on the Merlin and then submitted it to social media, yeah, probably got in trouble for that. Yeah, I'm not even going to lie. They probably got in trouble for that. I don't show injector plates. Unless it's on NASA's public archive, I do not show injectors. That is a really good way to get in a lot of trouble. And you guys could say, oh, EJ, you're paranoid. No. That technology is super protected. You guys ever notice? You guys ever notice how, okay, let's take that one TikToker a little while back that ran onto Starship's launch pad and started taking selfies of himself underneath Starship when there was fuel inside. Yeah, you notice how you never heard from that guy again? Yeah, you notice that? Yeah. Yeah, that guy is yeah, you're going to jail. Yeah, sure. They are not safe for work. Yep. Yeah, no, seriously, they arrested him. He's going to jail. You got to be careful with this stuff. You got to be very careful. I wouldn't notice if all the TikTokers were gone. Yeah, nothing of value would be lost for, right? He got spanked and learned his lesson. Nope. Go read the arrest report if you want to. Like, and I'm not saying these guys like disappear or anything. Like, they're not gonna like take you away and put you somewhere, put you in like a detention center or something. No, you're gonna get a huge freaking fine and you're gonna go to court. That's it's not like you're gonna get, potato sack over your head and like, where are they, Rachel? That's not gonna happen. You're gonna go, you're facing jail time doing that. Like, yeah, Space Troll, I want to be clear. They're not gonna they wouldn't put you like Guantanamo Bay or something like that. They're not gonna do that. You're gonna get in a lot of trouble. And see, like with me, like I said, I'm not risking my business over that. For a little bit of clout, me showing engines that nobody else has shown because you're not supposed to look at those pictures, right? Oh, great. I broke a story before everybody else did. And now you're going to go to court because the state will go after you. See what I mean? It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. That's why I'm very careful about it. That and, I give a frick about it. You know what I mean? What do the numbers mean, Mason? What do they mean? What do they mean, Mason? Indeed. Yeah. So, Joe, I'm very careful. Very, very careful with that stuff. I don't extrapolate any information that's not based off of public knowledge that any other person that knows a little bit about spaceflight would be able to decipher. The whole point is to teach you the thought process, It's to teach you the thought process. Jail ain't nothing, been there, done that. Okay. Bizarre, if I go to jail, who runs my business? It's not the subject matter here isn't that jail is good, hard or easy or whatever. That's the point I'm trying to tell you, Primo. Yeah, okay. I've watched you a long time and I know your stance on engines and stuff. I was referring to launchpad things. Oh, this stuff, like I said, this stuff is not a big deal. There's nothing here that, first of all, there's nothing here that anybody else can't see with, like any other country can't see with their own damn spy satellites, This is pretty straightforward stuff. The only people that I think would really give a frick about this is SpaceX, right? To not show proprietary stuff, which literally is what they're very careful about that. Knowing the extra and sharing the extra is where you need to engage the thinking part and not the speaking part. Yep. Brimo becomes Streamo. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, with the launchpad stuff, we're fine. It's okay. I know this is good to go. Talk to people about this, and I'm a nerd, and I've gone and read the stupid stuff. I read ITAR. I read a good deal of what the trafficking arms regulation stuff and like arms and export control stuff. I've read all about that stuff. And I'm not talking like do 5 minutes of research on Twitter. You can actually go see you could go read the stuff that ITAR says. It's all public record, ironically. But I'm very careful with this stuff. I don't share information that I shouldn't be sharing, because that's bad. Sweet, thanks for the deep answer. Yeah, no, it was a good question, dude. All right, anyway. Is ITAR where the restrictions on infrared video cameras are? To an extent, Cerebral, it depends. Hey, Pyro, how's the space news? Great. We got another one from Harry here. Yeah, we watched that rocket launch this morning, actually. Yeah, there it is. Couldn't see any of the stuff in the background. We couldn't see the hexagon there. But, yeah. Thomas, it's interesting to note that this thing has like a huge external pad of dirt around it. It's like on a mound almost. See that? It's like they stack dirt up against the concrete form. You can see there's a little bit of a mound there, which is interesting. The first of many overtake attempts. Let me see. Yep, and then the track narrows out, so you have to send it. Yeah, it didn't work for Checo there, though. Interesting. All right. So, with that news being shared, let's go see what's going on with NSF. We watched that one last. High Bay. Yep, here we go. This is the one we're going to watch. This footage is coming from our buddies over at NASA Spaceflight. Mary and Nick are the two full-time photographers for NSF out there, taking these pictures every day, so our eye holes can absorb it. Make sure you go over there and hit that sub button on NSF. Supporting them over there helps supporting me here, so make sure you do that, please, if you could. Yeah, Demon, you can't screw around with that. I use the information to not so much tell details or see details that aren't there, but teach people kind of the mentality that you need to have to work in the aerospace industry, to figure out and understand how this engineering works. And the mentality is that's not anything that isn't public, you know. Like you could go read the information around all over the place about, you know, rockets and, you know, what you need to do to like operate successful spaceflight programs to the moon. Like that's all public record. Yeah, Jim, I saw it too. Nice. All right, we got the launch tower here. I mean, what did I tell you guys? When we don't see a lot of scaffolding left on this thing, the only scaffolding I can see is right there on the back side of the tower. When the scaffolding is gone, that's when you know they're getting, you know, the pad is almost done. Also, little guy for scale right there. I do not see a lot of scaffolding left. What I do see is a lot of pipes. Look at all this stuff. It's almost like, you know, you should build all this stuff into an encased box so it's not, not exposed to the elements, like a mobile launcher or something. What's with the blemish on one of the launch mounts? Looks to be just normal salty air rust that I can see right here. What do you mean, firework? You talking about that? That looks like some kind of something that's in the center of the pad, like a catch net or something. I don't know. What do you think they went with why do you think they went with a launch mount instead of a launch pad? Simplest, lads. This is a pedestal. A raised pedestal like this is the simplest launch pad you can design. Raised pedestal with a crane. That is the easiest way to stack a rocket. Now, with SpaceX, it works twofold because SpaceX that's double use because your launch pad not only puts the rocket together, but also receives the rocket so it can put it back on the pad after it comes back down and lands. So, on top of the simplest type of integration, vertical integration via a crane, this, you know, it also works into being able to catch the booster and stuff. It allows for rapid prototyping too. I can give you a good example of this. When NASA was pursuing heavy lift capability in the early 60s, well, let me show you a little bit on how that pad went together. Namely, Complex 34. So let's go over here. This is my Saturn research folder. There's the VAB cranes and how they work. Early shot of one of the pads there. That, Ian, I don't know if you're here, that missile row picture, yeah, that got added to my depository of research pictures. That's a really awesome picture of missile row. Yeah, it's the research folder. There we go. Complex 34. When NASA was pursuing heavy lift capability, they didn't start building something like this. They built something like that. What do we see here? A metal stool with a flame diverter under it and a fixed service tower next to it. That is the simplest design. That's the simplest way to put a rocket together. I'm telling you, dude, you gotta read Rocket Ranch. Okay? Scree, link me it up on Amazon. I'll buy it right now. Serious. Shoot me a message. So, it's funny because when they went to build the Saturn V, which is this rocket's bigger brother, right? When they went to make the Saturn V, they wanted to use the tower with all the umbilicals, very easy, and use the launch stool. Then they realized that that would be way too heavy to put it in one position fixed. You're going to need a gigantic freaking pad, like a literal mound, to be able to disperse the load of that type of weight into Florida soil. So they came up with this idea. If they're going to have to build a pad that freaking big, you know, you might as well make it so the pad and the fixed service structure can be stowed if you don't want to use them, right? Rather than keeping them sitting out there on the pad rusting away next to the ocean, you could take them inside a gigantic freaking building and move them if you want. That'll also allow you to increase your launch frequency because you don't need the pad to integrate, because you're not integrating directly on the pad. The weight of Saturn V is why it has a big freaking mobile launcher. It's so ridiculously heavy. Can you imagine having a VAB on top of the pad and having a VAB like a bridge crane that's on rails that has to move back and forth? That doesn't make any sense. So, it's funny because the Saturn V is literally this exact same thing scaled up, but on wheels. It's true. Rocket Ranch. Bye now. Done. Be here next week, Scary. So, this is literally what SpaceX is doing. But SpaceX took this to the next level. They don't even need a mobile service tower and a bridge crane. They integrated right into their fixed service structure, which is what the catch thing is. Rockets, yes please. Mac, 17-month resub. Shuttle stack was no lightweight either. Shuttle stack was almost as heavy as that thing, because you got to remember they have to move the shuttle out with the SRBs fully fueled. So think about it like this. They have to move Saturn V out with the first stage fully fueled. It's a little bit heavier, don't you think? Yeah, shuttle stacks are very heavy. Also, that picture is sweet. Next week, imagine not having a 2-hour delivery. Bragging about instant gratification. Enjoy your 2-hour delivery then. But yeah, SpaceX went with this launch pedestal design because it is the simplest. Simplest and easiest to put together. Load spreader working on the orbital launch mount. Interesting. Rocket photographers and reflections in water. Name a more iconic duo. That's what was causing the shadow. Yeah, that load spreader. The question is, what the heck is the load spreader for? Looks like a squid. Congratulations, Chad. It's a squid. Okay, something's peeking. Oh, it slapped me. It's for spreading the load, obviously. Wait a minute. Right by the beach. Boy, abracadabra. This does sound like one of the songs in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, Sneaky. That's weird. Abracadabra. Samson, I stick by my word. I'm from Jamaica. What part of Jamaica? Right by the beach. Boy! Sanga, you dead, man? No, man. You wanna kiss my lucky egg? Oh, thanks, coach! Two good movies right there. I don't know, man. What? It's funny. Don't look at me like that. It's funny. Come on. Feel the rhythm. Feel the ride. Give it up. It's bobsled time. Cool runnings.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hokey gifted a sub to Louisa. Thanks, Hokey. You're cool. They're working on putting in the new quick disconnect there. Those are the load simulators, the thrust rams, that are going to simulate the 6 Raptor engines pushing up on a Starship. It looks like they've taken suborbital pad A and converted it into a test stand. It seems to have a lot of permanent fittings being installed as well. Yeah, Fed Up, it's a great movie. Yeah, they're pouring more concrete over here. I agree, Smirks. Yeah, they're pouring more concrete up there. I wonder what they're doing. Well, they're pouring concrete and my head's in the way. Whoop! Wow, that's a sweet picture. Sure, Demon. Nice lawn art. Now that's a cool plane, man. We'll show that. I'll show that. Show that after this, Smirks. Yeah, employee housing. Yeah, firework, right? You got a bunch of man lifts up there. I still can't figure out what they're making up there, man, but it's something. It's very clear that there's... So the cranes are like down here. The crane mounts are down here. And then this area right here on the bay, the high bay 1, the high bay, this is where the bar is, right? But in this design, so first of all, in this design, the cranes go this way. They go left, right, you know, camera here. On high bay 1, on the high bay that's just over there, the crane goes this way. It goes forward and back. This one, the crane goes left, right, and then there's an incredible amount of space here, 2 or 3 stories of space, and then there's this. See the corrugated floor up there? See all this? Corrugated floor? You don't put corrugated floor up on the top of a building like that unless you're pouring concrete up there. But we've never seen any concrete up there. And we've never, like, I don't know how they'd get the concrete up there unless they're mixing it up there. You know what I mean? Which is interesting. But also, they got 3 man baskets up there now too. These are just little scissor lifts that you can go up like, I don't know, 20, 30 feet or something. Hot tub and high bay too. So it's interesting because, okay, another thing to note, guys, is look at the outside beams here on whatever they're building up there. This is part of the reason why I can't figure it the frick out. Look at the outside beams. So the beams that are going around the exterior of the building. And then look at these chonkers in the center. What's that about? Why such a gigantic difference? They're doing something up there, and I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out. Not since yesterday, King. New Twitter offices. We saw them finishing the concrete last week. Yeah. Interesting. Hey, Funky, 12-month resub. Thank you. So, I want to add that from the area from like here to here is like 3 stories tall. This is a lot of space. It's not like, you know, somebody's like this tall compared to this beam right here. Somebody's about that tall compared to that beam. That's 3 stories of space up there. And clearly something is going to be on the top of this building in the center that's heavy because of how big those I-beams are. Storage area? I don't know. Beams on the opposite side are completely different. Looks like window sized. Yeah, it's very interesting. Not sure what's going on up there. Oh, what's that? Camera? A light. It's a light. Launch Control Center. The LCC? Phil, that would be my guess. I have no way to prove that, but that would be my guess. You could bring the concrete up there with a crane concrete bucket. A Mr. Bucket. A Mr. High Bay. Put your concrete on my top. A light. Body blinders. If you got that one, you get 5,000 EJ points if you got that guess. If you got that reference, you can guess that reference. Body blinders. You know, one day I was walking home with this thing and a couple of big guys tried to jump me. Oh man. Only problem, batteries don't last so long, guys. I still don't know what that box is. I know there's somebody out there watching the stream that got the body blinders reference. And you're probably yelling it at your screen. It's this movie, it's from this movie. And if you know, then you know. Good for you for understanding that reference. Good job, Luke. Elon's take on Fortnite loot boxes. Okay. That box is clearly a mystery box from COD Zombies. Hey, you guys! Oh, look. Condensers for air conditioning. Da 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 da. Love chunk. One of my favorite scenes is where Mouth scares the cleaning lady at the beginning. Aquí con las cucarachas para 2 semanas sin agua y sin comida. Okay, Rosie? Okay? You're gonna be really happy here. That's my favorite part too, Blue. The tortura de sexual de Senor Walsh. Never go up there. If you do a bad job, they're gonna lock you in the basement. La Casa de Locos, por Dios. That's such a good movie, man. Okay, we got some crane counterweights on the SPMTs today. Or, well, this was yesterday, but... Nice, Grumpy. There you go. That's cool. Yeah, weights. Wow. He can bowl. Alabama man. You can take Alabama to the bowling alley where he drinks heavily and chews tobacco. Shut up! Wow, he can bowl. Another good reference. You know, usually when I string a lot of references together like this, it's just a cover that of me being extremely freaking tired, which is... makes sense. Alright. Makes plans to steal the SPMT. No, stealing's bad. Okay, you shouldn't steal things. Okay, stealing's bad. Okay, you shouldn't steal things. Thomas, those things are freaking cool, man. I swear. Okay, Thomas, we make a pact. If either one of us gets filthy rich, we have to buy the other one an SPMT. At least one. At least one in the generator. At the very least. Okay? Is that a deal? Do we have a deal? Pinky swear on it? Deal? Okay. Cool. And then race them. Alright. They're okay. You can move your house with just one of those things. See, like Grumpy, SPMTs are one of those things that I literally have no use for, ever. What am I going to do with that? But also, it's like playing with Legos in real life. Like, Of course, I'll never have a use for that. But maybe that doesn't change the fact that I still want one. I'd go grocery shopping in it, Finn. Oh, absolutely. Can you even get... Are these even road-worthy? I mean, I guess. Don't have to worry about a wheel flying off on one of those. Oh, you're so cute. Double park it and watch the traffic warden just give up. Yeah, Demon, how would they ever move the thing? How would you move that? Use on the road all the time? Okay. Word. Alright, we got one more, and it has to do with more SPMTs, baby. Once again, footage coming from NASA spaceflight. Nick and Sweeney took this stuff. Mary also. Subscribe to NSF. Trust me, I wouldn't be telling you unless I meant it. I don't plug anything on this stream except for them. I don't even plug myself. Right? That's how you know it's good. So when you get it, then I'll get rich and buy the Buran. Then we can move Buran. It all works out. Yeah, it might be increasingly difficult to get to, Smirks, but I'll, you know, money's good. Yeah, see? What are you doing up there? See? Corrugated floor. You can't walk on that. They're pouring concrete up there. See, you can even see the form for it. And you can even see the concrete leaking over. How did they get all that concrete up there? When did that happen? Ooh, super heavy hydraulic accumulator. They lift a cement truck with this crane. Yeah, I never saw it happen, S. It must have happened when Nick and Mary weren't there. Also, that flat dome design. That flat dome deferred. Note the open S-24 payload bay door behind Booster 7. Yeah, I saw it. Let's back it up for everybody else to see. It's that little slot right there. Bird. That dome, though. I'll bet you that dome is way lighter. I mean, in that picture, if they back it out again, you can see the difference in geometry on the dome. These were made on March 22nd. Stretching the steel, huh? It says stretched 8.75 inches. Part 6. Stretched 875, part 7. All done on 322. Interesting. They're using a stretch. They're stretching the steel, so they're stretching it to form it, guys. Basically, they have like a watermelon-shaped jig. So like picture a watermelon slice in your mind, right? So it's circular on the top, right? And it's flat on the bottom. It sits on the ground, and then they take the steel and they pull down on both sides, and they use it as a mandrel, and they stretch the steel over it to stretch it into that shape. Interesting. That's kind of similar to how Centaur parts are made, which is funny. They also mounted the S-24 nose cone on the top bulkhead assembly. S-24 is still waiting on the top of the CH-4 tank, which is now mounted to the nose cone. Interesting. Somebody put red laser eyes on the Gandhi statue in San Francisco. Jeez. Is that like the Giga Press? Kind of belt fed. Think more like if you have saran wrap in you need to put saran wrap over a Tupperware. You stretch the saran wrap over the top, right? And then you scrunch it around the side. Literally that, but with steel. Yeah. I know, scary. It's gonna be pretty cool. Whoa. Thrust structure, huh? Damn. Yeah, this is starting to get more spacecrafty, fellas. Kind of scary, yeah, same idea. Only the wheel is static, and it's half of it. See that? This is the air cooling vents here for the gigantic 50 caliber machine guns that will be mounted on the back of this. Now, remember, chat, you have to make sure that you fire them in 3 to 5 round bursts, because these babies really like to overheat. Any questions? Yeah, I got a question. When did you turn into a nut bar? Remember, 3 to 5. So that's what the Air Force contract is about, yeah. Get some. Get some. Oh, did you see that? You see that? Watch this guy. Watch this dude right here. Hey man, you like that truck? Ah, yeah, it's great. All right, yeah, I'm leaving. See? That's how that conversation went, probably. United Rentals. Yeah, we watched the guys hit the locking clamps in on these things with a sledgehammer the other day, which is pretty cool. You could say those guys wanted to be your... Yes, this is another reference coming. da da da, sledgehammer. See? I wanna be a sledgehammer. For be my tomorrow. That's Dirt. Peter Gabriel. Well, that's all. That's a good song. You can have a drone flying around your starship. Birds don't exist. It's all drones. Always has been. The council has been alerted. The council has been alerted. Your actions will be reported to the evil council. Dude, alright. I'm just gonna say it. Drones, that's, there's something kind of weird about drones. And no, I'm not saying like they don't exist. Just the fact that that's some little remote control helicopter thing with like a camera on it. It's like, I remember playing like Half-Life 2. You remember the first like part of Half-Life 2, and you're walking around City 17 and there's all the TVs with Wallace Bream saying, "Welcome to City 17. It's safer here. Well, whether you're here to stay or traveling through to parts unknown, welcome to City 17." And then like the little hover robots come up to you and like take your picture and stuff. Yeah, like I'm not saying that's like, I know what it is. I know what it's doing. I know it's a drone. It's just the fact that like someone can come up and like peep you right with the camera is a little, that's a little eerie. Man, that thing is huge. Whoa. Dude, that drone was gigantic. Wow, I misunderstood the scale of that thing. Yeah, yes, I did see that. Yeah. I still like the discount spot rover. The discount spot rover walking up the street with the megaphone duct taped to it, repeating the message to stay indoors. Did you see that? That was strange. How big was it? Dude, look. That is a huge freaking drone. Yeah, no, that actually happened, by the way, because China. Yeah, Cerebral, it's freaking huge. I mean, like I said, I don't know how the drone works. I appreciate the tech. That's cool. It's just something weird. It's just something a little strange about like the drone popping up and like being able to see. That's, dude, that's truly the future, man. It's weird. Not uncommon on bigger project. A college near me has something about that size that can go from flying to landing on water and moving underwater. Well, I have a smartphone. Interesting, Hellfish. Yes. Yeah, Beryl, they're building an indoor facility for like a permanent indoor facility for Starship construction in there. Mystery box attached to the crane and lifted. Man, even the mystery box, man, that thing is gigantic. I don't know what that is. I mean, obviously it's a steel box, but you got to hit it with the question marks. Yeah, okay, yeah. Slot is on the bottom. Oh yeah, I see it. 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 Behind me. I'm gonna go over there. Ready? You think, Thomas? You think that's the dispenser? Oh yeah, Scary. I think you're right. You really? You think that's the Starlink dispenser? No way. No way. It looks like a pillbox belt fed, right? Remember, 3 to 5. You know. Birds. Can we measure the box versus the fairings? I don't know, Scary. Let's take a look. I mean, look at the dude right there. And there, well, there's the other end of the box here. The hole is on the far side too? Let me see. Yeah, yeah, fellas. Yep, nope. I have no idea what that is. I mean, this is just, that's steel. That's not stainless. This is just regular steel. You can tell because it's oxidizing like crazy, right? I've never heard of somebody building a steel payload dispenser. Well, there's no way to get that box onto the nose cone since it's closed now. It might be something to help load them. Now that I would believe, Thomas. A lot of GSE is made out of just regular steel like this. So, I mean, I'm not sure if that's chromoly steel. It might be. I can't tell. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's got to be the payload loader. It has to be the loader. You look closely together to see if the box is empty. Yeah, interesting. Maybe it goes on top of the wide bay for GSE, fireproofing? Perhaps. Will the first Starship orbital flight carry a payload? I think they're going to carry Starlink satellites up there, KSP, to be honest with you. Booter 4. Fellas, I always say that I'm never going to fail to point out scale here. I'll always pause it and take the time to point out how big these structures are. Look at the two guys standing on the chopsticks. Yeah, that's the scale we're dealing with here. Yeah. Yeah. Just thought I'd let you know. This one conveys it pretty dang well. Look at how big that structure is. It's freaking huge, man. The thing's an absolute monster. Why aren't they lifting boosters with the chopsticks? I don't know, Les. I can't figure that one out. I mean, okay. I have a theory. This is a theory. I don't know. Once again, it's based off of the information that we've been given. So take a look. Look up at the quick disconnect arm. You see that bracket right there? This kind of trapezoidal bracket. And then just see how there's like stuff hanging from the arm? They had a system here to be able to clamp super heavy so they could line it up with Starship. It's called a VSS in rocket science, like kind of no rocket science nomenclature, I guess. Vehicle Stabilization System. This thing was basically going to clamp Super Heavy and grab it so they can stack the Starship on it and get them lined up. With that being said, after they stacked the Starship like a month ago, they took that whole thing apart. They took all of it apart. They took all the pieces of that VSS off and all the service gantries and even the quick disconnect for Starship. They took this whole thing apart. They basically disassembled the QD from like here forward and then started replacing stuff. They just replaced the umbilical arm up there at the very top the other day, right? There might be a clue here. I could be reading too much into it. Now, last time they stacked, when they used this to clamp a booster, it was booster 4, okay? We know that booster 4 is an outdated design because it's literally sitting in a field about 100 feet that way. We showed it a second ago, or they showed it a second ago. It's right, I don't know. It's in here. Yeah, there it is. It's literally the scene prior. See? It's just sitting there. So, we know that this system worked with Booster 4, but we know Booster 4 is an outdated design. So, maybe this is super shaky. I could be connecting dots that aren't there. You guys tell me. The fact that they took this whole thing apart is pretty telling. That's pretty telling. I could be drawing too many conclusions. The fact that they took this whole thing apart tells me that the reason why they haven't been able to lift the booster with the chopsticks is because they redesigned it. They put the chopsticks in for a newer booster. No, that's not booster 4, but it worked with Starship, but it wouldn't work with the booster, so they needed the crane, right? But I don't know. It could just be that SpaceX, didn't want to lift the booster up. But we know that this thing can lift it. From the load simulation tests that they did 2 months ago, they literally filled up gigantic bags of water and they lifted with the chopsticks. They lifted 300 metric tons of water that way, right?
Go at throttle up.
So we know it can lift the booster. There's no way Super Heavy has a dry mass of 300 tons. That's unlikely. There's no way it's that heavy. That's 300,000 kilograms, or that's 6,300 or 630,000 pounds. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. That doesn't really make sense. 300 metric tons. That's right. 300,000, 660,000 pounds, not 630, excuse me. So I know that we know that those things can lift up Super Heavy. There's no way in hell that Super Heavy is 300 tons dry. That's not, I highly doubt it. I really doubt it. Because, consider this. Starship is supposed to have, let's see. Starship's supposed to have 72 meganewtons of thrust, or 70 meganewtons of thrust out of the gates. That's 14 million pounds. That's 14 million pounds, and if that thing weighs 300 tons and Starship weighs 100 tons, right? We could go with metric tons and then I'll convert. So that we're looking at a total vehicle dry mass of 450,000 kilograms. 450,000 kilograms is that's like 900,000 pounds dry mass. So the vehicle's almost 1 million pounds. Let's just round up and say Starship's dry mass is 1 million pounds. We know that the launch vehicle has about, we know that those Raptors should be doing about 70 meganewtons, which is about, 15 million pounds of thrust. So if the vehicle weighs 1 million and the total thrust is 15 million, what's your mass fraction there? Your mass fraction is terrible. Like 90% fuel, 10% rocket. That's garbage. That is terrible. That's terrible by space shuttle standards. There's no way a rocket flies with 90% mass, like a 90 to 10% mass fraction. That's no, it wouldn't make it. It wouldn't make it into space. You literally have too much rocket on your rocket. We know that Starship isn't designed that with that type of drive, with that type of mass fraction in mind. And we also know that look, if the vehicle weighs 1,000,000 pounds on the pad with no fuel in it, when you fill that thing up with fuel, there's no way it's gonna. I mean, dude, you're gonna. I don't know, 14 million pounds of liquid, right? There's no way you're having 1-to-1 TWR off the pad with this thing with 72 meganewtons of thrust coming out the bottom. Those numbers don't line up. It wouldn't get off the pad. With that amount of dry mass, it wouldn't get off the pad. So we know that just doing some crappy napkin math in my head, just doing some basic math out, you know that Super Heavy doesn't weigh 300 tons. So you know that those chopsticks can lift that thing up. They absolutely can. So that tells me that it's an interfacing problem. The only reason they haven't lifted up Super Heavy with the chopsticks yet is because the connections aren't right. And them taking apart the quick disconnect arm connection points, which share the same connection points as this, it was grabbing at the hold points. That was the old system. That tells me that they redesigned the top grabber points here. So the newer booster, they couldn't lift up with the chopsticks because the chopsticks designed to work with the newer boosters, and Booster 4 wasn't. That's just a theory, though. Just build it directly on orbit. Duh. Yeah, there you go, Smirks. I needed help on something. I'm working on 7 people fly on this mission, but there are 8 names. They rotated a crew member off of the ISS. Dan Tenney launched up and Clayton Anderson came back down. I've met Dan Tenney before, by the way, goalie. Yeah, I met him at the ISS RDC in Boston in 2014. And Pam Melroy. She was there too, which is pretty cool. Deputy Administrator at NASA. What do you know about Vera Station and Sargent systems? Is that true? Nothing, Max. I don't know what that means. Is it odd that the ship has but the boosters don't, though? Yeah, Laz, it's a little bit weird, but dude, you gotta give SpaceX the benefit of the doubt here. There's no way they oversaw something like that. There's not a chance in hell that they, said, "Oh, lift Starship. Oh, we can't lift Super Heavy with these chopsticks that we just spent 8 months building." That's not how rocket science works, man. No, that's not how engineering works. Let me put it to you that way. How much does it weigh with fuel? I don't know off the top of my head, Gorthon. I'm gonna go ahead and guess it probably weighs 7-8 million pounds with fuel on board, maybe 9. You might even be pushing 10 million. But even then, if we know the booster has about 15 million pounds of thrust and the booster weighs 10 million pounds with the fuel inside of it, that means the mass fraction is like 95 plus. So what's mass fraction? In rocket science, guys, mass fraction is literally the amount of rocket that you have on your rocket versus the amount of fuel that you have on your rocket. Most rockets are above 95% fuel. Easily above 95%. In fact, 95 is bad. Most rockets are above like 98% fuel, and Starship would be no exception. But keep in mind, if you're making a reusable launch vehicle, you have stuff like wings on it, stuff like attitude control systems, stuff like in the Starship's case, you have the landing engines, right? That's all extra mass, so your mass fraction will go down with reusability, but I don't think it would go down to 95%. Stuff like Centaur, like let's take Centaur 5 on Vulcan. Centaur 5 is like 99% fuel. Yeah, 99% fuel and like 1% rocket. Seriously. Most of the weight from the Centaur comes from the fuel inside of it. Or mass, I should say. Once again, Starship being reusable probably puts it down to like, 98, 97% mass fraction. Once again, I'm just guessing. This is just the numbers that you need to be able to launch something into LEO. Like, I don't know the exact numbers for Starship, but what I do know is that 95% is dog crap. That means you're not getting into space. Can I give you a YouTube link about Vera Station? Yeah, with link perps from a moderator. You got to ask them, Max. Nick on my nose. Did you just say lube tube? Loop tube link. Ah, got a good old loop tube. Any mods around? I'll just do it next. Don't worry about it. You can post it now. Yeah, see, quick disconnect. Look, the quick disconnect has clamper arms similar to a docking port. So does the quick disconnect up at the top for Starship. What is this? Vega, Sarah Station or whatever. Gateway Spaceport. These guys, okay. Yeah, these guys. I know about this. That's a cool idea, but I'll be honest, guys. Like, these guys post a video. They post videos every once in a while, right? That guy posts a video every once in a while, and I've never seen anything other than those videos. You know, like you know, gateways. Right? They talk about building gigantic space stations and on-orbit manufacturing and all this cool stuff, right? But, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they're not legit. Like, but honestly, the only thing I've heard about these guys, Max, at all is literally from these YouTube videos. I don't see them in NASA contracts. I don't see them anywhere. Like, what? Like, these guys want to just basically move bulk materials up to build space stations. The first thing they wanted to do was the first thing they wanted to do is build a giant ring station, but now apparently it's a torus. It was a ring like a year ago. Now, don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. This is cool. Dude, this would be awesome. Please do this. But I haven't seen any flight hardware from these guys. All they do is sit around talking about how they're going to do this and showing really awesome videos. Like, don't get me wrong. That's really freaking cool. I think this is really neat. I really do it, please. There's a lot of technologies here that I'm looking at that are extraordinarily complicated. Like that one right there, welding in space. It's not as simple as just having a welder just on a jig that moves back and forth. The other thing is, dude, imagine how complicated, and once again, I'm not doubting, imagine how complicated a vehicle like that would be. How are you going to control the RCS on a vehicle like this when you have that huge dead weight of those panels sitting in front? You have a huge offset in center of gravity here from your RCS thrusters. Who's going to design this vehicle? What is it going to launch on? Starship? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not hating by any means. This would be awesome. That looks like some 2001 stuff. Like, Jim, you already said it. You're absolutely right. This is really cool. Max, my thing about this is that these guys post a video about this every once in a while saying, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do this, and this is how it's going to get done. But that's all they've been doing for the past, 5 years. Like, once again, I'm not hating. Anybody that wants to expand our dexterity in space has my respect. Absolutely. Because, that's one step further than what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here in the peanut gallery, So these guys, you have my respect. I'm not hating by any means. Okay, cool. Let's see some plans. Let's not see some 3D renders and you talking about how you're going to build a space station. How are you going to do this? You going to buy a bunch of Starship launches? Have you invested in SpaceX? Like, who are you talking to? How are you going to get this stuff in space? Who's designing your vehicles? Does NASA know about this? Like, I have a lot of questions. But they said SpaceX will help. That's why I asked you about your opinion. Well, I don't know how that changes the answer with what I'm saying. Like, oh, they said SpaceX is help. Okay, great. I want to start a spaceflight project and I want to launch a payload on Starship. SpaceX will help. Okay, let's see some contracts then. Some contracts. How are you going to do this? You going to build this? Okay, cool. Let's hear some commitment from SpaceX. Or otherwise, it's just. Why were there sparks falling? I don't know. Now, don't get me wrong, Max. I'm not. Don't get confused. I'm not hating by any means. This looks awesome. Please do this. Please, that would be amazing. A gigantic toroidal space station like this that builds itself with raw materials. That's cool. I want this. This is a really awesome design, or at least it looks like it. Okay. Where's the plan, other than some 3D models here and there? You know? Can you explain how you would get proper you would get a proper ground for welding while in space? 619. What is a ground but a gigantic isolator, right? You ground stuff out because resistance. You need resistance of the car. You need resistance on one side so you can arc on the other, right? I don't know. I don't know how that would work in space. I'm not even sure that what I just said was correct. Is it? I'm pretty sure that's right. Second guessing myself. You just need something to make a lot of resistance on one side to get the electricity to arc in the right direction. That sounds right. You don't need a ground for welding. You need a ground for personal safety and nothing else. Yeah. I suppose all you got to do is make a circuit. With that being said, my ground up on something like that in space, I'd have a huge rubber cork somewhere, you know, or have my welder on gigantic rubber isolators so you can arc it in one direction. I don't know. I don't know, 619. Like, I'm sorry, it's my brain's kind of right now because no sleep, but something like that, Dragon. Yeah. I would imagine your ground would need to be a huge isolator, right? Like, you can loop it. It's looped anyway through Earth. Yeah. But doesn't one path need to have more resistance than the other so it flows in the right way because direct current? Or am I not thinking about that right? Are there any EEs in the chat? Because I know this, and I know that I know this, but I'm blanking on it right now. You ever have one of those moments where you're like, I know what I'm talking about here, but I don't know? Maybe? Like, I've learned this. I know I've learned this so many times, 619, and it's kind of irritating me that I don't know. Happens to me daily, yeah. You don't need any isolator. Vacuum is the near perfect isolator. Yeah, you know what, Stoll? That's a good idea. That's a good point. But your welder is clearly docked to the structure that you're trying to make in some other way, shape, or form, unless it's just floating next to it, right? You just need a current path. Yeah. You just need a circuit for welding. Battery positive, battery negative. It works perfectly. Interesting. Just a current path. Yeah. The only need is a current path. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. All right. Let's. I don't know. That's cool, Max. I haven't seen this video, but I've seen their other videos, and I do appreciate it. I would really like them to do that. That would be really cool. This is an awesome design. That's really neat. But you know what? I have questions. Like, okay, you have a gigantic torus of plates right here, and it seems like you can only load like one plate at a time. Why not have one of these boxes, like take box 21 right there, and why not put it on a circular track with a jig attached? So you could just attach plates, and it attaches one, moves to the right, attaches another, moves to the right, attaches another, moves to the right. Like a tunnel boring machine. That would save you a metric ton of dry mass. You don't have to send 30 of these damn boxes and welders up into space. You just need to send one that moves circular on a track. But I don't know, maybe put the whole mechanism on a gigantic rail. Why wouldn't you do that? Less moving parts? You're telling me that my design with one box and a rail that goes 360 degrees is less moving parts than 30 of these boxes? That's 30 welders that can go wrong. Yeah, Spartan, I guess when you say it like that, it makes more sense. See what I mean? Like, what I don't understand the need, because like you have this thing that's moving these plates in here to 20, right? To box number 20. There's no way you can keep all of these things like stocked with ammo in the magazine, so to speak. That would mean this thing would need to basically refill one of these every 5 minutes. How are you going to refuel that thing? See what I mean? Like, that's... Designing for Starship's launch cadence? I suppose you're still subject to Delta V here. So you have Starship's launch cadence. The way I said would have like 5 launches. 5 launches of launching the vehicle up into space, and then the rest of the launches would be launching these panels. This way, there's like 30 launches that are launching the building thing up into space, and then 30 more launches after that with panels. That's still more expensive. I heard they will use a plastic paste that hardens at solar heat and radiation crystallized, and it may not use any metal. I don't need to hear him talking, Max, to tell you that that is a very ambitious project. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it can't be done. That can be done. Sure, absolutely. They're just going to use unobtainium to build it. Like, once again, fellas, I'm not hating. I'm not hating. That's a super ambitious project, and you should shoot for the moon, figuratively and literally, right? But man, that's a lot of stuff that you got to figure out to make that work. Dude, I wish them the best. I hope they do it. Friggin' do it, man. That would be dude, you see that station, man? That would be awesome. I'm in. Like, let's go. But damn, that would be complicated, dude. I think these guys are planning for the long-term future. But with that being said, I'm not going to say that I don't want that. That's really freaking cool. Phenomenon. That's, like I said, that's super ambitious, and there's nothing wrong with having ambition. But the problem is making YouTube videos and talking about what you're going to do is cheap in spaceflight. You know, don't get me wrong, that's really freaking cool, and that seems to be a pretty dang viable way of getting it done. But there's a lot of stuff that you got to figure out there. Anyway, let's finish up with the Starship video, and then it's time for racing. The refueling donut will be a thing. Time to die. Max, what are we racing tonight again? Alright, Grumpy. See you, buddy. Have good night. Right, Chuck? It does look like those Popular Mechanics space stations. Coda? Oh, NASCAR's at Coda. I'm in. It's gonna be sick, but I do need to get some practice in, so we should probably finish this up. And Formula 3's at Miami? How'd you swing that, Max? Formula 3's at Miami. How'd you do that? Wait, what? How'd you get that? No, you're kidding. You're screwing with me. Yeah, Sile. Well, hey, maybe that's the economy that's coming. Circuit of the Americas, sort of. Austin, Texas. Texas game warden right there, boy. Texas game warden. Okay, then I'll forget about the article. Thanks a lot. You're amazing at coming for inspiration. Yeah, Max. And hey, don't forget about the article, dude. Just like I said, acknowledge that these are really awesome plans, but that's also a super ambitious project. But it's still cool. Like, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I'm glad I could help. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to dissuade or discourage anybody. Except for that. That was a little strange. Yeah, the OLM decided to vape a little bit. Damn, son. That's nitrogen, guys. They're using nitrogen starters. They're using nitrogen to spin the turbo pumps to get Raptors started. That's the starter mechanism for the outer ring of boosters on Super Heavy. See, not those ones, not the pivoty boys, but these ones on the outside, like right here. It's off the screen, but like this one right here, that's the outer ring. That's what they're going to use to start them. 1 hour of sleep. Let's go. All right. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed Space News today. I'm going to do some racing. Guys, I had a breakthrough last time we raced at Spa last week. I had a breakthrough on like my racing technique. Hopefully I don't suck as much tonight. Now that I said that to you, I probably am going to do terrible, but let's get to it. You want to sit? You want to talk F1 with me? You want to learn about racing? Let's get to it. We got NASCAR's at Circuit of the Americas, which that's going to be hell. And then Formula 3's at the new F1 Miami GP circuit. Brand new circuit for Formula 1 that they're racing this weekend. And if you're watching the VOD, this weekend was the weekend of May 6th, 7th, and 8th. Yeah, just for the VOD viewers. Hi, VOD viewers. Hi. I don't forget about you. That's why I try to put these long streams in, because then I know that people will have something to watch. Don't forget about you guys. I see you over there. And you. And you. Why are you watching me on the toilet? Are you kidding me? You're watching me while you're taking a dump? Thanks. Yeah, great. I'm glad we have this type of intimate relationship.